Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martens, bringing you a live elections coverage to the minute here. The current time right now, the date is Monday, October 21st. We're in the 43rd week of the year, and it is election day in Canada. Have you gone out to vote? That's the question. Well, I have, and so has the family. So we are good to go here. Are you good to go? Did you go out and vote today? So today we have election day in Canada. Local time is 3:05 p.m. right now. And let's go over a few things here. Let me close my Facebook here and keep our we're going to have our account open here live for you guys. The counts will be open live, and we are going to be tallying up the votes, and it's 18:06 where Jordan is. I'm going to vote after dinner, says Kevin. Woo! Oh, you know what? That was the only clear photo I could find. And I am pro Maxine Bernier myself, so don't worry about it. I'll see if I could even change the background a bit once in a while. But I had a really tough time finding everyone. I don't know how the green lady made it on this background. Woo! Well, I got some good news for you guys because I might be doing some jail time. Fake news section of Elections Act faces charter challenge. So right now, the current government wants to actually base us as fake news. And what they want to do, even though I have better coverage of what's happening in Hong Kong than anybody else here in the West, because I have people on the ground and they're filming and they're sending us footage. I have better footage of what's happening in Chile than people come on my show on Mike in the Night like, what the heck is happening in Chile? I never heard of this on the news. The whole country is burning down. Yeah, well, they're not going to tell you this on your news. They want you to tell you that everything's cool. Yep, real name just voted PPC. So did everybody I know. Yeah, Mike is live streaming. Yeah, it is election day in Canada. So right now, let's watch this video. They're going to start finding and putting people in prison that create election or fake news. Fake news section of Elections Act. So it's a new law they're trying to pass to disallow people from talking. So it's scary because I don't understand why they would do something like this to us when we have a right to discuss what we think we feel or what we think we know or what we think has been happening. They're shutting us up. Metal Gear Mark III. Welcome to Elections Canada 2019. All right, let's continue watching this.
The G7, of NATO, of the Five Eyes, it would be naive of us to assume that we are not a target for a cyber attack. That being said, we are constantly monitoring, and as my colleague can comment, but the CSE will be coming up with an update to its cyber report in the coming weeks and months.
Cyber report attack? I don't think so. I think a lot of those countries overseas couldn't care less about Canada. They're passing this fake news section Elections Act in Canada, in the charter, basically to get rid of people like myself or even people talking at work. They're going to call in a secret number. Hey, somebody's talking about the government like this. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm alone. No one saw me. So that's what I'm afraid of is going to happen in Canada. You know, a lot of people left these countries in Europe because of that, and now we're seeing it happen here. And that's why a lot of people are returning back to Europe. Canada's losing a lot of European immigration right now as we speak. More people are leaving for Europe right now than huge numbers. They're saying, I was trying to get some of the numbers from someone that I know that works in the inside of one of the main airports in Canada. Europeans are leaving with huge boxes in this, and they're one-way tickets. Because they process tickets, and they know. And they're all one-way tickets to Greece, one-way tickets to Spain, one-way tickets to Portugal, one-way tickets. Every country except France. But everybody's going back. Ital style for life, woo! And Italians going back. one-way tickets. So a ticket processor in Ontario told me, Mike, you were right. I watched your Mike in the Night 2 weeks ago, and you discussed how many Europeans are going back to Europe. You're not kidding. The amount of people returning to Italy, Greece, Germany, not really Germany, he said, but it's lots of Portugal and Spain and even the UK. Huge numbers. So we are out here in Brampton voting. Owen, can I get you live right now? Owen, can I message you? Can I see you live right now voting? I don't have to see who you vote for, but I just want to see if I could get you live here so we could see you. Let me see if I could get you here. Oh, shoot. Let's see if Owen picks up. We could get him. Let's see if we can get Owen to pick up and find out what's going on. Come on, Owen, call me back. Let me know when you're in a suitable area. I want to see lineups, people voting. Come on, buddy. Come on, you could do it for me, Owen. I know you're out voting right now, and you could do a video around. Show us your area where you're in. Guys, if you want to call in live on Skype and show us your area, what's going on with voting, I'd like to know. So again, guys, fake news section of Elections Act faces charter challenge. So they're going to put this in the name of protecting Canadian democracy for overseas people attacking our elections. It's not. It's just to get rid of us. And there, my eyes looking at the door right now. Portugal's looking real good. Do my 5-year stint in prison, and then go to Portugal and live the rest of my life. Oh, I'm not out. I already voted. Okay, go outside and turn your camera on at least. I'm just joking. PPC. Everyone's going PPC now. A Calgary-based legal foundation is asking an Ontario court to strike down and use sanctions of Elections Act that forbid making certain false statements during a campaign. Okay, what about we strike down and imprison federal governments that lied to us and creating false statements to us? How's about that? That's why they want my ass back in Portugal. That's why they want us out of here. Don't worry. Today we'll find out if Alberta leaves, that's right. So PK 335 is voting PPC in an hour. That's right. Me too, says PK. Sorry. 553-8088 there. They're all voting in about an hour, guys. Guys, take your Skype with you. So if you guys want to go live and show us, not showing who you're voting for, but just going around showing the people outside, waiting to get inside, go ahead and do that. I would like to see myself. In our view, this legislation is almost comically in violation of the Charter Guarantee of Freedom Expression, said the Canadian Constitution Foundation's Executive Director John Baran. Our mandate is to protect constitutional liberties. We think this issue is particularly important because freedom of expression is most important thing on election campaign. That's when we want to be most vibrant political speech. The CFF is a libertarian legal charity. It's backed a New Brunswick's man challenge to interprovincial trade barriers, which ended in 2018 Supreme Court decision. The organization lawyers have asked for the case to be heard quickly, given that the campaign is already underway. So this is it, guys. Okay, falsely saying that a political figure has broken the law, has been charged without breaking a law, or is being investigated. Making false statements about a political figure's citizenship, place of birth, education, or professional qualifications, or membership in a group. Breaking the law could lead you up to 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. So that's coming to us. This is not coming from overseas in Russia. So that's what's happening. That's why a lot of Europeans, see that door right there? We're going back to Europe. Canada, good luck. Because, I'm sick and tired of seeing this place go down the dumps. And when people say, oh, yeah, Portugal is the toilet of Europe. Yeah, it's changed. As long as the West doesn't come and destabilize it, Portugal right there. This is where we're gonna move. That's the town we're gonna move to, right there. So they want us to out of here. Hey, you know what? I'll leave, but don't come and destabilize us again. Don't come and put sanctions on our country because we don't want to join your bullcrap World Bank. Leave us out of your garbage. Okay, Real German Instincts is calling in. Hello, Real German Instincts.
Yo, Mike.
Yeah, how are you?
You need to get online, man. Like, there's some asshole, right? There's only one guy who's live streaming the election.
I am live stream right now as we speaking, and don't swear because I'm probably going to get this flagged.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm live right now. You just said the A word, and this might...
I wasn't aware.
Yeah, that's fine. Just jump on the live thing there, okay?
All right, buddy. I was just trying to give you the heads up.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. No, thanks. I'm live. I've been live for 20 some odd minutes now.
All right, I'll be in the comments.
Hurry up.
Now, bud.
Hurry up. Bye.
Bye.
That's Real German Instincts giving me a heads up. Always people giving me a heads up on what's going on. And, yeah, some guys about the election. Yeah, it depends who is, it depends if the person is a very heavy liberal. YouTube would unlock the stream to get it more views across, because I'm already looking at the door to get the hell out of here. They're looking at, no, we can't stream this guy. So breaking the law. So if I discuss a politician right now with this new Fake Elections Act in Canada, if I have proof, falsely saying that a political figure has broken the law or making false statements about a political figure's citizenship, if I break this law, I could get 5 years in prison and $50,000 fine. And that's why Europeans are now deciding they're starting to see socialism creep in like it did in Europe, and we're going to go back. I'll go back here to Portugal. I have no problem living in Portugal. I really don't have any problems doing it. My concern is I'm afraid of destabilization. When these countries get good, then the West comes in and takes us over and shuts us down and puts sanctions on us. A lot of people don't know that Portugal was one of the heaviest sanctioned countries during the 60s and 70s because they refused to join the world banks. Yep, because they refused to, they starved the Portuguese to death, making it the poorest country in Europe. So I go back, no problem. But leave us alone. I promise you'll never see me here in this country again. And I'm starting to get really, really fed up with this shit. Really fed up. So now they're going to imprison you and fine you for 5 years. I'll do my 5-year gig in jail. I'll do my 5 years. When rapists and murderers do a 3-month stint in prison, a 3-month penitentiary stint, and they're out! And pedophiles. Yeah, I'll go back to Portugal. Don't worry. The violation, the law, the segment must be made during the election and with intent of affecting the election. That might seem like a difficult thing for a prosecutor to prove, but Borgen argues it isn't. No, it isn't. We'll just make shit up on people we don't like. That's why I'm saying, if you're a European descent, start looking at the goddamn door. The goddamn door. That's why I have dual citizenship. That's why when this happened, I already knew when my dad was alive. I said, Dad, I gotta go renew my Portuguese papers. I gotta renew everything. He's like, why? 1, you're still alive. 2, I need to get this fixed because when I have kids and I need to get the hell out of this country, I could do it. And that's why my friend is a ticket processor now for 22 years now. And he's told me in one of the major airports in Canada that everyone's buying one-way tickets to Europe and not coming back. Heavily bagged. Heavily wooden boxes. Goodbye, Canada. Yeah. So, you know what? I want to raise my kids in peace. And if I can't talk about how we're becoming a broken country, or we're talking about how they're mismanaging our goddamn funds, then we got ourselves a problem here. Because I'm ready to do a 5-year stint. Oh yeah, I'll do it hard time. I'll do hard time for this. Because when I'm out, none of my family has to do time ever. Our interpretation of this is more or less the political of speech on social media, particularly or anywhere else during an election, could be made to read for intent and effect of the results of the election, she says. So basically, they're trying to make it seem like it's a thing overseas and meddling with Canadian elections. They're actually looking at us, at the typical European. Let's get this straight. European Canadian living in Canada. That's no longer welcome here. But one promise, you don't bring us war, we'll all leave. We'll create a pact. I'll sell everything I have. Buddy will sell everything he has. We all sell everything we have. We make a pact. We don't come back here. We leave. We go back to our countries. But you don't bring wars to our countries, and you don't come and destabilize us. Guys, I need you guys to share this video right now. Go below, you'll see it. Share live stream. Share it now. Share it now. James said, why would you go to Europe? I'll go back to Portugal. I don't have to deal with this anymore. A lot of Europeans are going back to Europe. Lots. Here, I'll show you where I'm from. From a bunch of islands in the middle of nowhere. I don't have to deal with this. There it is. Right there. Goodbye. Little town like this. Another little island off the coast of our island. That's it. That's it. Everybody share. Share. Let's go. Punta Delgado, the capital. Because they have... because I'm Catholic, right? So they have Catholic feasts here. They have parades. They have the Day of Christ. We have all kinds of stuff. And I could go back, be and die with my people, and then that's it. Story's over. It's done. Over and done. Bunch of islands in the middle of nowhere. I don't have to deal. When I want a vacation, I can leave the islands to the mainland of Europe if I have to and visit. Because when they're doing this, Canadians falsely saying that politician figures have broken the law and charged with breaking the law or is being investigated, making false statements about political figures, citizenship, place of birth, education, professional qualifications. Breaking this law could lead up to 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. Right there. Promises. Okay, election polls are coming in. Let's refresh this on Google. Numbers still haven't come in here. We're still waiting here. Google's covering it live. This is updated 13 seconds ago. So we're keeping it here. We're going to start getting numbers in. So this is still a pretty much LMNOP. Yeah, this is a BCT of LMOP. This is alphabetical. Promises. A checklist of party promises for voters. So what are these guys promising? Let's see what this guy has to promise here. Scandalous! Received the most attention during the 43rd election, but there's plenty of ideas to ponder when going through the party platforms. There's broad consensus with many of the issue of the housing costs and economic growth, affordability, but the proposed solutions reflect some deep differences between the main political parties. No, the only one that's different than everybody else is PPC. Yeah, they should... PPC is the way to go. PPC is the only one that makes any sense. Even if he's lying, you know what? I like this guy's lies. You know what? This guy wants to put the economy back on track. This guy wants to get the numbers budgeted. This guy wants this. This guy wants that. This guy wants to stop sending foreign aid. Hey, even if this guy's lying for PPC, I like his lies. They're good lies to me. PK 3500 saying, I was born in Canada and we'll fight them to death. Canada will be great again. Vote PPC. James Wright says Portugal looks wonderful. I was thinking of Britain, Scotland, and all of those countries. I couldn't. I think I can't move there as a Portuguese citizen. Can't move there. There's different laws in the EU that allow you to move to specific countries, and I know the UK isn't one of them for Portuguese. None of the three major parties are promising to balance the books in a 4-year term of government, but the Conservatives pledge to do it in 5 years. Liberals, new career insurance benefit with up to $15,900 in benefits over 2 years of long-term employee laid off because business closes. The new federal minimum wage is $15 an hour starting in 2020. More labor productions for workers in sharing economy companies, up to $10,000 per new apprenticeship position, $40 million National Workplace Accessibility Fund. The Conservatives want to reduce the red tape for businesses by 25%, ensure intellectual property protection, and free trade services in the new trade agreements, engage with our countries of free trade. Convene First Minister meeting to draw up inter-provincial free trade agreement. NDP. Okay, forget that. Universal, pharma. That's crap. Liberals. Let's go here to these guys have been in power. Okay, Conservatives, and we don't have the where's the PPC? Yeah, there's no PPC. Okay, guys, when you see a major news organization covering every party except the one I'm telling you to, or we're talking about to vote for, that means you vote for that party. You vote for the party that the stupid media never shows. Time to vote. Polls open across Canada. Elections Canada says more people are got robot calls with misinformation about when to vote. Let me guess. The Europeans got misinformation. The Europeans. So what they do is they kind of send a prerequisite type thing asking who do you think you're voting for pollsters, so they could get an idea of who's voting for who. And then when they find out you're voting for a party they don't want you to vote for, they give you a robot call. Woo! All right. Three Guys Right podcast, German Instincts in the house. If I no longer know what being in Canada is, then the more I'm going to fall down on my British identity and get hostile to people who oppose that. Wow. Yeah, so the comments are flying. Guys, please share this video right now. Go down into your thing, click share, and whatever, Instagram, share it on Facebook. Owen did it already. My man Owen did it already, and he's taking care of business for us here. That's how you support the channel, people. Okay, let's move on here. So let's look at this. This is from a day ago.
In Ipsos polling exclusively for Global News, at 33% of the national popular vote, up 1 point since last week, the Conservatives have a slight lead over the Liberals, who stand at 31%, also up 1 point since last week. The NDP is at 18%, down 2 points. The Green Party at 6%, down 2 points. The People's Party, 3%, up 1 point. And the Bloc Québécois would receive 29% support in Quebec, which translates to 7% of the national popular vote, unchanged since last week. Canada remains a divided country. The Conservatives are strongest west of the Ontario-Manitoba border. The Liberals, all points east. It's only in British Columbia where a clear preference has not yet emerged.
In my opinion, I think British Columbia is going to go liberal, heavy liberal, because of... there's no more Europeans living here, so the whole conservativeness could go right out the window. Live coverage 2019 elections. So we got this open here. We're hoping that see if we can get here. There's no polls. Okay, here we go. So Canada as a whole. We got the map open here, and we got them coming in. All right, so let's zoom into this map here, guys. And it's kind of early to see anything yet, as nothing's been colored in. But right now, for the disillusion, today and difference. So there's nothing here right now. This is I guess this is the dissolution of what's in existence right now. So let's go here Canadian elections, a live writing. So discover more election coverage. Go here. Let's see what we got here. Everything's sitting at zeros here on this one. Don't worry, guys. I won't leave you guys out. I won't leave you guys in the dark. I know I was ranting earlier, but when you come in to a discussion like this, and someone sends you this, and they're coming for after people like this, I believe it. So I'm going to bring this up again. Falsely saying a political figure has broken the law. This is in Canada. Has been charged with breaking the law or is being investigated, making false statements about political figures' citizenship, place of birth, education, professional qualifications, or membership in a group. Breaking the law could lead up to 5 years in prison and $50,000 fine. That's why a lot of people are deciding to bail on Canada. Whoever's got dual citizenship right now are starting to make the decision that this country is no longer for them. Again, I have a ticket processor processing tickets in one of the major airports in Canada that Europeans are buying one-way tickets back to their countries of origin and not returning. Kids that came with parents, kids are going back, grandkids are going back and not returning. One-way tickets. And because of this, they're going to start passing these laws, and it's going to get more and more and more and more like a police state. And that's what's going to happen, people. So, but the thing is, it's got to be a mirrored. So this is a Bill C-76 to imprison people. You could do 5 years in prison. I'll do my 5 years, like I said earlier. But you know what? I'm not making stuff up. We're going through things. We're discussing things. And you know what? And, a lot of people are just leaving. They're selling their homes, and the smart ones, the boomers, that's bought their homes in the 70s, like the Italians, the Greeks, the Portuguese, sold their houses in Toronto for a couple of $1 million, and are heading back to Europe. That's what they're doing. No one's winning the election right now because we don't have anything right now that's out. Let's go back to Google. Here, election updates. Nada. We got nothing. By 4 o'clock, we should get trickling in stuff real soon. And here's the article here. And the article's from the Toronto Sun. Fake news section of Elections Act faces charter challenge. $50,000 fine. How do the main parties compare with these issues? Okay, let's go to PPC. We're getting nothing here for PPC, of course, because that's how they wanted to do it. So let's go to PPC and see what they got going on. There we go. PPC. The Post-Millennial. Let's see what they have to say here. PPC, People's Party of Canada. New questions raised in PPC riding association's registration in light of CPC allegedly hiring Kinsella to attack the party. Yeah, they're always going to get people that are always going to come in and start to try and damage the party, of course. Let's see what else we got here. U.S. Territory Indigenous Advocate says Ottawa PPC candidate. The Indigenous Advocate says Ottawa PPC candidate Paul Drust referenced the story of students' votes form to justify cuts. So basically, PPC wants to cut things so they could get back on track, all these benefits. And they're not going to win with the Indigenous. It's going to be tough to win that vote. The Indigenous vote's going to be a tough one to win this year. Yukon woodsman agrees PPC supporters should. A 40-year-old hunting guide photographer, it managed to post a monologue video Twitter weekend response to People's Party of Canada. Taking social media to become pundits and political influencers online. I watched Bernie's statement and he says he thinks it went further and they planted evidence to set him up as a racist. Yeah. Welcome to my big show, PPC. You're going to be painted as a racist no matter what. Anyone that is not firmly far left progressive in this country is painted as a racist by the media. So if you want to be conservative and you want to produce, you want to create a future for yourself, and you want to do better, but then your neighbor down the street doesn't want is mad that you're doing better than he is, and basically he wants what you have, but he doesn't want to work for it. You know what I'm saying? And conservativeness is very important. Conservative families, conservativeness is the strong pillar of society that actually keeps this thing glued together. Warren Kinsella should be doing 5 years, says someone in the comments. Alan Mack says it's going to be a long night. Wani Modi says it's going to be an interesting evening. Commie Canada with Trudeau. It's like electoral college, like USA, Mike Martens. That's right, buddy. We got our friends from down south of the border watching this. Guys, go to the bottom of this little transmission, whether you're on your phone, wherever you are. Share this now. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, retweet this. Get this out there. Woo! Because this is going to be a good one, guys. This is going to be a good discussion here, guys. You want to get all your friends on here in the comments. Yeah, James Ray is saying many Indigenous are refusing to vote. So Buddy's got something here, Yukon, from the Yukon.
From the Truck, Volume 2. This is an important video.
Yeah, it's an important video.
About the Liberal NDP coalition that's forming and the PPC-CPC vote split and the serious ramifications it could have on our country. Permanent. If you look what happened in BC, where the Greens held the swing vote, they held the NDP hostage for electoral reform. They forced a referendum. And you can look up the different platforms they proposed, the different types. They're all complicated, but the bottom line is it's no longer a majority rule. What it allows is increasingly eclectic leftist parties out there with enough local popularity to win their riding, suddenly granted federal or provincial power, on the national stage with no cohesive strategy or teamwork. And then those parties will form coalitions, eventually in government, to gang up against any and all things right-wing, period. So what it'll mean is that we'll wind up with a permanent minority leftist government in this country, and they will rig it to favor their team, period. Like, come on, are they going to make a fair system for conservatives to get elected? Forget it. So, PPC supporters, listen up. Your little 5% is going to make a big deal. And I understand your frustration. I see you in the comments. You arguably have the moral high ground on a great deal of issues in this election. The correction you're proposing is a good one for Canada. Your message isn't perfect, needs to be more inclusive, but I'd like to hear more. And the bottom line is that makes you a political leader in a way. And I learned a lesson recently. Part of being a leader is that you have to recognize the limitations of your team. And the limitations right now are that Canadians aren't willing to gamble the future of their country on an untested party with unproven candidates. Vote Andrew Scheer. We won't recover from this.
All right, so he's saying pro PPC, and it looks like we won't recover from this. Let's see what he has to say here.
I'm exhausted of talking about this election. But, I got to hand it to these PPC guys. They're relentless. They've been DMing me, texting me. They're like, hey, Yukon, you're a globalist. What do you think now? CPC got caught red-handed, blah, blah, blah. And, half of them are bot accounts I can see. But, I was pretty hard on the PPC yesterday, so I think it's only fair I respond. If you don't know what's going on, there's an accusation that someone at the CPC hired Warren Kinsella or his firm to dig up dirt on Maxime Bernier during the election. Now, in the fallout, Kinsella has now closed all his social media accounts. It looks to me like he's trying to protect himself from something. And I watched Bernier's statement on it, and he says that he thinks it went further, that they were planting evidence to set him up, to paint him as a racist. Now, to that I got to say this. If that's the case, yeah, that's too far. That's trying to fix the election, right? It's not okay. But number two, welcome to the big show, PPC. You are going to be painted as a racist no matter what. Okay? Anyone not firmly far left progressive in this country is painted as a racist by the media. Okay? I deal with that. You deal with that. Anyone right wing is going to have to deal with that moving forward. Number three, if they were hired just to dig up dirt, I don't know. Sorry, guys. I think every candidate out there is facing that same scrutiny. There are teams pouring over social media right now trying to dig up dirt on whoever they can, however they can, wherever they can. So that's the name of the game now. Number four, Unifor was hired by the Liberals with $600 million taxpayer dollars for the Stop Shear campaign, essentially. So everyone's dealing with that now. Dedicated, funded campaigns against them.
Same thing with Donald Trump. They had dedicated funded campaigns against Trump.
Finally, I think a lot of you are operating under the assumption I'm some sort of Andrew Scheer acolyte that just believes anything he says and thinks he's a hero. I'm not. I'm a Canada First guy, but Scheer is the only one with a chance of beating Trudeau. He's the card we're dealt, like him or not.
So it's going to be a very interesting. Let's go back here to see if we can get any changes in the... Nothing coming in here. It wants me to sign in. It wants my information, man. So nothing coming in here. And federal elections update. Let's see if we start to get something in here. Heck, Google's more on time with this stuff. So let's go Decision Canada 2019. So we're seeing what today is going to bring. And everything's sitting at 0 right now as we speak, people. Right now, as we speak, we are seeing nada. Maybe we'll open this page a bit more to give us a bit of, yeah, right here. There we go. I put that right there. Yeah. Man, this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be an interesting evening, guys, here. Thanks for tuning into Mike Martens' channel, a.k.a. Mike Martens, Mike in the Night. And I want to see if I could cut this screen just to sit up here so we could read other articles. I'm going to get a few people on the show. Whoever wants to come on, see if we could get... we had Real German Instincts on earlier, so maybe he could give us a little bit of what's going on without swearing. Guys, I swore a bit here earlier. I was off my rocker earlier today. Very, very upset. And I think there's going to be a lot of people, I think, in my opinion, that are discussing to go back. A lot of people going back to Europe, guys. So if you're thinking about it after this election, or you feel like it might be something you might want to consider, I don't blame you guys, because you won't be the first guys to. All right. I'm just going to readjust the screen here real quick for you guys. Yeah, bring it up. All right. Clean it up here a bit for you guys. There you go. There we go. Okay, so we got the live counts here. Let's get some people in here. Let's get a little bit of maybe a little bit of background noise here. They're not giving all the parties an equal nobody's getting an equal representation, which is really sad. And people are getting threatened now
Ipsos polling
with the article that I read earlier
at 33%
to basically
of the
get
national
fined
popular vote, up 1 point since
$55,000.
last week. The Conservatives have a slight lead over the Liberals, who stand at 31%, also up 1 point since last week. The NDP is at 18%, down 2 points. The Green Party at 6%, down 2 points. The People's Party, 3%, up 1 point. And the Bloc Québécois would receive 29% support in Quebec, which translates to 7% of the...
Yo, what's up, dog?
So what? I can't Skier think about setting up a a coalition with the PPC, People's Party of Canada. Instead of trying, he keeps talking about how the NDP is going to do it with the Liberals. What's wrong with setting it up with the French Le Bloc, the PPC, and the Conservatives?
Yeah, they're pretty much on the same side.
Is Skier too good for that or something? Or because like all I get from him is he's a progressive. With a conservative, he wants to reduce taxes.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, I think the conservatives are probably just as equally as corrupt as the liberals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit more actually, the conservatives are usually a little bit more brazen with it, right?
Yep, they are.
You remember Harper when he was selling us out? He sold the biggest oil company in Canada to the Chinese, and he did it backdoors.
Yep, and one of our biggest coal mines too.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yep, that's the BC mine that has 5 years now, no Canadian hires.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yep, 5 years, no Canadian hires, but they use the Canadian healthcare system.
Yeah. So I don't know what the people keep saying stuff about splitting the vote. Why can't the Conservatives decide to maybe form their own coalition? Why do they? I don't get it. And with that stuff coming out about Skier and what he did trying to smear campaign his fellow right-wingers, right? That doesn't really bode very well because the way I look at it, Skier is a centrist. And that's fine and all from the right. He's more of a centrist. He's not even really conservative, right? With all his progressive values, he's trashing out nationalism. But in my opinion, when Skier decided to attack the PPC, what he's really doing is he's making a fatal move right there, in my opinion, because he's attacking the populist right, which is very big in the Western world these days. It's just this is the first election cycle where we had a populist right to pick.
Mm-hmm. So
that's not an image on his behalf, I think, personally, because he's going to regret that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing with the populist right is they're very active. They're not, sit at home, quiet, watch the news cycle, mom and pop, freaking boomers. They'll get online and they'll show their media presence, and he'll get ripped alive. He would have been better off not targeting them during the whole debates and everything, and just kept quiet at the very least. You know what I mean? Versus trying to make an enemy from his own. Because the way I look at it, all Skier has done through the entire debating cycle is nothing but attack the other right whenever he got a chance. He's not really exactly helping out, you know what I mean? And while these other groups and shit, they've been basically attacking. I guess the liberals, they've been eating themselves, but they already know what's coming, right?
Right.
It's actually quite frightening when you think about having a perpetual leftist socialist government.
Yeah, that's very dangerous, my friend.
Like this morning, because Facebook's telling people to go out and vote now. I guess that's a new feature. And they were telling people to go out and vote this morning. And then, when I realized it's election day, I went to go vote with my friend, and he picked me up and we went for the drive, whatever. Went on to the riding.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized, I'm like, this country, because they're talking about the coalition stuff. I'm like, this country is so screwed. I literally called my grandmother in Burnaby. I was like, Nana, you were born in the UK? She's like, yeah. I was like, I might have to get a visa because I want to leave. Well, the next 5 years, I want a plan B for when the economy finally collapses. I don't want to be here for that.
Well, yeah, I was being I have a good friend of mine, many years now. He's been processing tickets in one of the major Canadian airports. And he told me that a lot of Europeans are going one way and they're not coming back. They're all buying one-way tickets. We're talking about grandkids of original Canadian immigrants. Like grandkids are going back.
Well, that's another thing. See, the thing under you can get a special visa to England if you can prove that either your grandfather or your grandparents or your parents are English. And you get an ancestral visa. So if you're the third generation, what they do is they don't give you the citizenship. They'll give you a 5-year working visa and no questions asked. You can be on disability. They'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. It's like the most lenient form of immigration possible because they want a return of. It's called through descendancy or whatever you call it. Ireland has the same thing, and I also have an Irish. My grandfather, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that I looked up is I can't get that because it has to be registered. But the English stuff, I could get a 5-year working visa, and then it actually only takes 5 years of being there that you get a permanent residency. So that's an option I was looking at this morning because I'm like, this country is going to go to, it's going to go to in a handbasket, basically, I think, personally.
Yeah, no, I'm on your team with this one, man. I'm on your team with this one, man. This is getting really, really out of hand right now. A lot of people addressing concern, and we're seeing, like, I don't know if you saw Mike in the Night last night. Mike in the Night we got Derek Rance in the comments saying, have fun tonight, guys. Yeah, we'll be having fun, guys. Check out the Derek Rance channel too if you guys are ever in the mood for a heavy duty deep rant. Remember how I was ranting at the beginning of this video where I'm just gonna go back to Europe when the poop hits the fan?
It makes you mad, man. It makes you mad. But what's going on? But have you seen what the candidates on the left are offering everybody, like the freebies?
Yeah.
There's going to be no money for anything. We're going to be so rapidly in debt. This whole country on a federal level is going to be like Ontario.
Yeah.
And for you, those that aren't from Ontario, I can tell you this right now. Ontario is as broke as it gets. They're so in debt, it's not funny. They're literally buried in a hole where they can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
And they just recently elected a guy to get them out of the hole, and they're already talking to get rid of him because of the austerity, because they can't handle it. But the point is, as soon as they remove Doug Ford, they're finished.
Hold on a sec. I got Derek Rance here in the discussion. He's got his own channel. I want to bring this article up because he's watching now, and I want him to cover this on his channel when he gets a chance. I don't know if he did cover it because I haven't jumped over to his channel in since like 2 days ago or a day ago when he went live. But right now in Canada, I want you guys to take a gander to this. Falsely saying that a political figure has broken the law, has been charged with breaking the law, or is being investigated. Making false statements about a political figure's citizenship, place of birth, education, professional qualifications, or membership in a group. Breaking this law, so a Canadian citizen breaking this law could have up to 5 years in a prison and $50,000 fine. And they're calling it election meddling in Canada. And that's why I said my eyes on the door and hello, Europe.
Anything over 2 years is beyond provincial and then becomes a federal crime in the penitentiary, which is sorry, excuse my language, but
yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that sentence is equal to a home invasion with a sawed-off shotgun. It's a prohibited weapon because you've sawed it off.
Mm.
So they want to give you the equivalent amount of time in society that would be a mandatory minimum for basically kicking someone's door in with, you know what I mean? Like that's over what, a robocall, and then. That's draconian. That's like,
what I'm scared of, you know, when they do those pollsters and they ask you who you're going to vote for on Facebook or something, and they do a pollster to find out who you're voting for, and then when they find out you're voting for one of the teams that they don't want you to vote for, they start sending you these robot calls at home telling you, giving you misinformation on when to go vote.
One of those this morning.
Yeah, it
was weird because it was like 1900. Let me actually look it up for you. It was weird because it wasn't 604 or wasn't even 1 2 3 4 5 6. It wasn't a 10-digit number. It was something like 4 or 5. No, or something like 5. I actually got a robocall this morning, but it was in Mandarin.
Of course, it's in Mandarin. You're in Canada. Wake up.
Yeah, it was 1970888. I was like, what the hell's that? I was talking to my grandmother, right? Because she's off to do bridge, and they're going to talk the politics, these 80-year-old, old ladies, right? And I was on a call with her, and I noticed there was an odd number. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not enough digits. Where's that coming from? And then they left a voicemail, and it was in Mandarin. I was like, what the hell? So I have no idea.
Yeah, it's telling you to go vote Liberal or something like that in Mandarin.
You know what? A lot of my Chinese friends back in BC, that they all voted Conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Because they see the writing on the wall. They're like, we left China. We don't want more socialism or communism. We had enough. That's why we came here.
We got Johnny on the side saying, by the way, Mike, the gold prices are coming down. Just a side note. Oh, it's coming down. It's going to come down for you to buy on the dip. That's God's grace telling you, hey, it's tough because all this fiat crap, all this stuff is going to start collapsing all around us. And the only thing I think that's going to stand strong is gold, silver, and some maybe gold and silver stocks, and maybe some gold and silver investment. I don't know. Like, there's a lot that's happening right now. So we got Anthony Ravalukaba in the comments there. Eric T, James, Johnny doesn't know. I think 1390 US hold. Yes, yeah, holds. Yeah.
I have one response. The individual talking about the equity prices going down. See, the thing is we're experiencing a liquidity crisis globally right now.
Of course.
And what that means, because the Fed right now is injecting a lot of money trying to band-aid it. What is probably going to happen if we're going to be entering a recession, and a lot of people are believing in the next year. So after 2019 and we're in 2020, there's going to be a recession. It's actually quite more than normal to watch silver drop and gold prices drop and stock prices to drop during a liquidity crisis. But rest assured, when they turn on the printer on maximum, it will be going back up.
Oh, it's going to go back up threefold.
And that happened in 2008 anyways. You know, silver went for a jump to 60. So, like, that's actually quite normal because there's a lack of cash. You know, cash
I'm waiting for tomorrow's results, and I might jump into more gold and silver tomorrow.
I'm feeling about buying more Bitcoin.
Listen, I wanted to bring something up with you. Okay, and I didn't get to ask you this because I didn't get you on the show at the right time. I wanted to ask you. This whole debate, the debate went on, right? And I was covering the debate, and I was really choked. And you know what? You knew why I was really choked about this debate. They weren't covering the opioid crisis. They weren't covering the homeless crisis, the fentanyl crisis, the Chinese money laundering $200 billion through real estate, and laundering I don't know how many billions through our casinos. And then not only that, they're not talking about the housing crisis. 1 in 3 homes are empty, and the availability of good quality paying jobs, and how wages haven't moved in 40 years, and our healthcare system is deteriorating. Why aren't they talking about this? Whole debate was about pipeline, climate change, global warming, pipeline, climate change, global warming, pipeline, climate change, global warming, and pipeline.
It's clown world, Hong Kong. I was actually writing my cousin something, actually. So here's the thing. So they'll put a bunch of, like, here's the government these days, right? Because people are so small-minded, or they're worked to death to the point where they can't pay attention. Where do you are? Take your pick. There's different types of individuals out there. But the point of the matter is society is so worked hard at this point and taxed so much to death, and the cost of living is so high. And basically it's all the symptoms of the dead economy, the dead society, the lingering effect of a zombie economy. That when you account for the fact that like, for instance, a politician's going to offer to, like in BC, we'll build, and they wouldn't even build this many. This is like a blurted amount, but say the BC government's like, we're going to build 10,000 over the next 10 years affordable housing units. Understand? Mm-hmm. And they charge those out for about $400 to each low-income family, like maybe on disability or welfare, right, or income assistance. And then and that will make them look good. And to the public, they think, oh, 10,000, that's a big number. But here's the thing: they're bringing on average about 10,000 immigrants fresh off the boat from mainland China or from wherever, India, Pakistan. They're bringing them in on the boat. There's about 10,000 immigrants coming fresh up, month to month.
Canada's bringing in 500,000 Chinese per year. We covered this on the channel many times on the article.
When you say that they're going to build affordable housing units, it's a joke.
Oh, you're affordable. Okay, these are millionaires. They're pooling for. Yeah,
residents every month. You do the math. That doesn't add up. You're going to bring 120,000 people just to BC alone every year, but you're only going to build 10,000 units over a 10-year period.
What's the point of that? What's the point of that? When we look up that article I brought up here, Here, I'll bring
But
it up.
people don't ever check the stats or the math because they're too busy working their job.
But
you know what I mean?
nobody's okay. But let me bring up an article here that makes sense. Okay, again, this is articles from 28. It's been updated 3 times already. Douglas Todd, Aboriginals and Whites leaving Metro Vancouver. So, Aboriginals and Whites leaving Metro Vancouver for other regions of BC, particularly like the Fraser Valley, Vancouver Island, and the Okanagan, according to Stats Canada.
Yeah, emphasis on the fact that they have no choice.
Right, they can't afford. So 9,345 whites in 2016 left Vancouver, and that was in 2016. In 2017, they said it was like a staggering 17,000. 2018 is like 23,000, and this year it's over 30,000, and we still have a quarter left this year.
What's the solution? It's just going to get worse, man. It's going to continue to get worse. You know, the next global recession is just over the horizon, or at least I believe it is. You know, it's different before when we were speculating for the last 10 years since 2008. Now we're actually seeing, you know, the recession open up. Like we're actually can be like, shipping index is down, the freight is down, corporate earnings are down, the bond, the yield curve is inverted. Like we have actual factual proof that it's very soon around the corner. Mm-hmm. Signs have gone off. You think stuff is bad now. So if you look at it, like you look at the fact that our immigration policy is bring in as many people as we can and spread around the debt and get labor suppressed as much humanly possible so we can maintain the economy and cost of living in the service economy. Mm-hmm. When the economy retracts, think of the economy like butter. You know, butter? Now think of the human population here like the bread. When this thing, you think the infrastructure is no longer keeping up with the population because the standard of living and the GDP per capita has gone down so much. Because like all the rich, the elites, all they care about is GDP overall. Now talk about GDP per capita. This is meaning the individual, the standard of living for each individual. When this economy attracts, and we have no choice but to impose austerity or hyperinflation, we're gonna have civil unrest. Mm-hmm. When people are losing, like, think about it. There was a stat recently done, and it was mind-boggling. 50% of Americans are living check to check. That's half the American population is not getting ahead. They're literally living on the brink.
Okay, here's the article. Canada wants more Chinese workers, students, and tourists, says immigration minister. So Canada is basically saying they want more Chinese, and Canada is increasing visas to China for 500,000 per year. Opening more visa offices could help Canada compete for more Chinese workers, students, and lucrative tourist business. It's the biggest market in the world. They spend lots of money, and it's great to have more Chinese in Canada.
What political movement? How does that help the middle class and working class?
Nothing. It buys them out and creates cities into empty shells.
Yeah. Other than inflate the cost of living. And the cost of institution that you have to take government debt out. Most people are taking out debt loans on their student loans, and then they got to pay them like as if they were mortgages. Like, it's hard to talk about this because I almost feel like blowing a gasket just talking about this.
Yeah, I know you can't swear on the show, and you're very upset, and you're ready to start losing it right now.
You know, why does any politician think we need more Chinese students? We need to suppress the labor wage even more because, oh, by golly, we need to rack in some of those rich Chinese.
And not only that, Canadians are paying for 91 visa offices to open in China to compete for more Chinese.
You know, look how China disrespects us.
Yep.
Our country doesn't even have any decency. It's basically a prostitute to the highest bidder. Mm-hmm. And we're just stuck here watching like our sweet wife, our country, just get sold out like a cheap. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's sad. It's sad. I'm not going to finish those sentences. No, but it's what angle can you look at that to not?
Oh, here I got an angle for you. No Canadian hires for 4 years at Chinese-owned mine.
Canadian mine owned by China.
Yeah,
it's like for Australia now.
And to actually work for this Chinese-owned mine in BC, you have to be fluent in Chinese.
Yeah, we're a third world country now. We're like the Philippines. China's conducting colonialism on them, and we're just taking it. Pay us. You hear about the South Park episode that got South Park banned in China. They basically said everyone, all the corporate and elite interests in Hollywood, from you name it to the corporate interests, they're just selling out. They want that Chinese dollar. They're even willing to censor us with their platforms. Even Blizzard. Blizzard Entertainment, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, they're censoring our people because they want to speak out about Hong Kong. You know what I mean?
I know, that's really sad. That's really sad that people can't speak up about Hong Kong. Look, I love Hong Kong, okay? I think Hong Kong is basically...
Oh, I go a step further, Mike. I think Taiwan is China's legitimate government.
Yeah, I've been to Taiwan. Taiwan is a country I've been to. I don't know, like, hold on.
The Kuomintang is legitimate. The legitimate.
I've been to Taiwan 5 times. I love Taiwan. I love Taiwan. I have, my wife's Filipino. I have no problem with Asian people. It's just the communist crap. Back in the 30s and 40s and 50s, if they picked you out as a communist back in the day, they put you in a dark room with a shiny light in your face and ask you communist questions. How do you know this? Who are you working for? Are you a communist? Nowadays, it's like openly, like it's normal. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I find funny? China uses their foreign populations across the globe in the Western world, like Richmond, BC, that those communities, and use that brainwashing that they brought here into our country to stage political movements and different psyops. That's a fact.
Yeah.
What's funny about the Chinese people living here? China doesn't even want them to come back because they're worried that they might bring some of that democracy and freedom of expression back to mainland China. You give up your Chinese citizenship, they will not give it back to you. Yeah. But they have no problem using that foreign-born population that's now here against us. They've pretty much taken over the Australian electrical grid. They've taken over.
The Chinese have taken over the Australian electrical grid, and they were almost taking over the Brazilian electrical grid until somebody stepped in and said no, goodbye.
Despite all of the deep blatant stuff going on with the PPC, and they're not going with the grain of what the current day progressive standard is. I thought about splitting the vote today. I just can't do it because it's so against my principles. Because there's nothing SCARE stands for that I stand for, other than maybe balancing the budget and bringing a little bit of sanity to the budget. But he doesn't even want to reduce the carbon tax, so I don't know, man.
Well, that's why I voted for PPC.
But you get what I mean, though, right? And this is literally the Western world in a nutshell. It's just going down the toilet.
And we got old guys. Check out Old White Man. He's got his own channel. Mike is a good guy. He's the Portuguese Prince of Property. Guys, check out Old White Guy's channel. I'm not sure if he's going to go live. I'm not sure if Rance is going to. I'm not sure who's going to be going live today. Guys, don't forget to surf the YouTube channels. There's a lot of good channels out there. Sly Ryan, wow, just looked at the CBC live election coverage. They don't even have PPC on the seat total on the bottom. They're labeled as others. Yep, that's how it works. You always vote for the ones they don't want to show you. The ones they don't want to show you are the ones you have to vote for.
I don't know. Canada's democracy is... There was another guy, right? He's been running whatever the live show for the pre-election for how many hours? He's got like 3,000. Guy's a liberal, right? He was telling his 3,000 people that were watching, and he doesn't have that many subscribers. It's just because he was the only person that was running the live show for the Canadian election and shit on YouTube. So the point of the matter is this guy was saying to the people in the live stream just like a couple hours ago, oh, I would pick any American politician over our current election cycle. We should go to a Congress. The Canadian democracy is actually way more robust than the American one. The American one is a two-party system. And those guys
yeah, it's a two-party. And remember, did you watch that video about when I voted for the president of Portugal?
I don't believe I did, Mike.
Okay, well, there's like 22 parties to choose from, and they're open. They're like the Communist Party of Portugal, the Workers' Socialist Party of Portugal, the Commonwealth slash monarchy of Portugal. They actually tell you what these parties are. They don't hide behind the curtain. So they have...
I wouldn't doubt it.
Huh?
But the fact that someone so ignorantly would say, let's compare Canada's democracy in comparison, and we don't actually have a democracy, we have a constitutional monarchy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't seem to know that. You know, a lot of people don't seem to know the Queen of England can launch a couple of nuclear warheads from England just because she felt like it.
Mm-hmm.
She could dissolve Parliament, but that's beside the point. Actually, to be honest, I'd rather have the Queen running the show than all these clowns right now.
Yeah, the monarchy would be better. We'd be better off with the monarchy right now. That's what they said in Brazil. They had this thing during the Brazilian elections where they said people on the bottom of your vote and say, no, neither vote, no vote for either. We want Portuguese colonialism back. Portuguese monarchy rule in Brazil. That's what they were writing on the ballots.
You don't think they're bad when people want to put back in the dictatorship or the royal family. That's when you know the politicians have sold out so much to corporate and rich interests, and they're so out of touch with the working class. You know what I think the biggest problem with this is our current society, because it's correlated with our democracy, is we don't really have a big platform because all the tech companies are censoring it. Anything that's not freaking left of communism and shit is just thrown. It's just buried. Maybe not censored, maybe not banned, but it is buried. They just shut it down and put you in a quarantine box. Like your channel has been in quarantine. Like it was getting how many you were getting almost like what was it 1,000 subs a week? You're getting like over 100 a day.
Yeah, and then they quarantined. They shadow banned my channel for ages, and then
for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wasn't getting anything because I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not here bashing anybody. I'm not here. You know, I'm an immigrant myself. I'm a Portuguese, right? And I'm seeing where where the poop's going, and I think we should all come together and talk about it, right?
No, I agree, but it's just sad. Even when you try and get the word out, and just using simple logic, where we have an overprice in tuitions and the cost of schooling, yet you want to bring 5,000 more students? 4 and 1? How does that make sense?
It doesn't make any sense.
These leaders on the debates they don't talk about the fentanyl, opium crisis.
That's what I said earlier. Why? Fentanyl, opiate crisis, homelessness, rampant homelessness in all our big cities and little cities. And now the big cities trying to solve the problem by shipping all their homeless people to smaller towns. And the smaller towns don't have the resources to take care of this.
My parents have complained about freaking crackheads trying to steal bottles from their backyard in Chilliwack. And it's been just getting predominantly worse and worse because Surrey and Vancouver keeps shipping because they want to sweep their problem on the rug, even though their problem is nothing more than a symptom of their society. And they want to ship it into the small towns. And the small towns like Chilliwack are like, why are you shipping people here when they don't belong here? They even got caught red-handed giving an insane patient who had severe mental illness with no connections to Chilliwack, Surrey Memorial released them and then paid for a taxi for them to go to Chilliwack. Like, how's that make sense?
Oh, never mind that. Let's take a step back. St. Paul's Hospital in downtown Vancouver discharging people and sending them all the way to Merritt.
Oh.
Yeah, with no connection to the town. There was a guy walking around barefoot in the summer, said he left his shoes in the taxi, and I asked him how he got to Merritt. He's like, oh, I don't even know where I am. Where's Merritt? I'm like, it's a small town. You're like 2.5 hours out of Vancouver. Oh, okay, well, I left my shoes in the taxi. I'm like, you paid for a taxi to come here from Vancouver? He's like, no. He showed me his bracelet. I just got out of the hospital, and they shipped me here from Vancouver. They said they're going to help me here.
Yeah, to the viewers, Merritt is like quite literally in the middle of nowhere. To put simply, if you had to walk home from Merritt, you'd probably die. You'd actually die. Like your legs wouldn't be able to carry you from point A to point B to the next town. That's how in the middle of nowhere it is. You know what I mean? Like not a backwater. It's got all the amenities, but if you try and leave it, I don't believe you guys got a bus either.
No, we have a smart bus that he could take from the Walmart that could Take you to Kamloops or Kelowna.
And then when you get to Kamloops to Kelowna, which you're going further into your, how do you get back to the Lower Mainland?
Oh, no, then you're screwed.
So that's how they dealt with the poverty. They literally put them in a position where they couldn't afford to come back. Other than
So, old white guy has a question here. Number one question PPC voters won't answer. Have you ever voted at any level before? Yes, I have. Second question, do you have kids? Yes, I have 3. 3 babies.
I have no children. I'm a millennial, and I'm younger, and I just care about my future. And then I'm thinking forward about where my future is going to be, and my children that are unborn, what their future is going to be. That's what I care about. See, I'm not some immigrant, no offense, that comes to my country, Canada, and then plans to work really hard, whatever, do all business. That's fair enough, and then just leave and retire back to their home country like a king. You know what I mean? Because as far as I'm concerned,
well, that's what a lot of Europeans are doing right now. Like I said, my friend processes tickets out east. He's telling me that a lot of Europeans are buying one-way tickets, whether they're origins or original immigrants from their European country that came in the 60s and 70s, or the kids of the original immigrants, or the grandkids. They're all going back to Italy, Greece, Portugal. Not really Germany. It was Ireland, England. They're all leaving in mass droves Canada. That's why Canada's population is having a really tough time to keep it up. And because of the mass, and then we're losing all our doctors. Canada's biggest export is doctors. We lose doctors to the States like crazy.
Yeah, think about the capital outflows if all the rich white boomers start leaving. This country is going to collapse overnight. I'm not trying to sound racist, but I'm just saying if all the white boomers were to leave, this country would the debt alone that would be left behind, there'd be such a mass missing. There'd be a missing amount of capital that they would have to fill that hole very quickly, and I don't think that, such a hole being filled that quickly would come without consequence. Mm-hmm. In that much liquidity just disappearing overnight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But then again, the market is frozen. It's not so easy just to sell your house right now in the current market conditions. Right now, houses are sitting for a while. My family has a $1.5 million home in Burnaby. It's been sitting there for about almost a year now.
We got my man FV in the house might give us a shout out for us. To all my Portuguese blood that's watching out there. Watch this from the beginning if you're Portuguese. All right, guys. Okay, FV, Goat-like, everybody, James Wright, Brother John, Anthony, everybody. I need everybody to share this video.
Here's how you sell it to if you don't want to share it because whatever reason on your Facebook profile. Look at it this way. Everyone's talking about the election. Just share where you're watching, just chilling out, watching the election cycle, and where you're getting your live feed. Why not? What do you got to lose on that?
I know. I even have people that say, Mike, I really want to come on your show, but I could lose my job. I'm like, you could lose your job talking about the homeless in your area? If someone can come on here and talk about the homeless in their area in Canada, that they have to step over people's bodies that are sleeping on the street to get to the bus stop, and they can't talk about that, we got ourselves a big issue here, folks.
You also have to make sure that you're not stepping on the fecal matter. It's important.
That's in San Francisco.
No, it's in Vancouver.
Anthony. We got Anthony Revelacaba. If you want to add me on Skype, we could talk about homeless. Anthony, add me on Skype. Mike Martens, MikeMartins, 1980. Add me on Skype and come on the show, buddy.
You know what you could also do is just type in the chat. Might work. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so we're getting something in. Liberal is getting 3 right now. Where's it coming from? Where's this? So they're up 3. Is that seats? Yeah, that's today. Okay, where are we going here? All right. There we go. Looks like we are getting in results from New Brunswick. Right here. We're getting results of New Brunswick. Let's zoom in here. Okay, here we go. So we're going to start all the way at the end of Avalon, New Brunswick. Okay, nothing's come in. Nothing's come in from Avalon, New Brunswick. So let's go to Trinity Bay here. Boa Vista. This is Boa Vista. This is a Portuguese found this area, by the way, many years ago. Luis Labrador from Portugal found this place. Luis Labrador from... Okay,
home
hold
country.
on.
You're like a travel agent.
Huh?
I said you're like a travel agent. I want to visit your home country. You make it sound so nice.
Okay, here we go. In Boa Vista, we got 25 points leading the Sharon Vokey, the Conservatives, and Matthew Cooper, NDP. And then the Green Party with 0. So it looks like the Liberal Party won that riding there, the Boa Vista riding. Okay, let's move on. Then we got the Coast of Bays, Central Notre Dame. This is as of right now. It could change, guys, so nobody panic. This is what they're getting in. So Coast of Bays, Central Notre Dame. So we got a Liberal Party winning that section, that riding, with 96 with Scott Simmons, Liberal. 72, Alex Baraki, Conservative, and Noel Joe for the NDP, and Byron White for the Green Party. So far we're getting nothing for the PPC so far here, out here. Way out here you won't get any PPC, I think. Okay, then our last riding is the Long Range Mountains. The Long Range Mountains, we got 34 seats won by the Liberal Party by Goody Hutchins, 30 points by Josh Elias. That was a close race there in the Long Range Mountains. Josh Elias, Conservative, and then four points with Helly Pike for the NDP. So it looks like the Liberal Party is winning Nova Scotia. Let's go over to Labrador. Newfoundland, sorry. Let's go over to Labrador, where the bigger riding is here. Here we go. So we got Labrador. It's 8 for Yvonne Jonas, Liberal, and McElhenney Gray, NDP, with 6, and 4 Larry Fleming with the Conservative, and 0 with the Green Party. So we're going to keep you guys informed on what is happening. I'll keep refreshing this and give you guys the data as it flows in. So far, Liberal Party is winning the province of Newfoundland here. Newfoundland here is pretty much looking like it's becoming completely, and the coast of Notre Dame here and Boa Vista here are all looking like they're going to be in the power of Liberal hands. Okay, continue.
What was the province that was majority owned by on the islands that was majority owned by foreign buyers? What one was it again? I forget.
There's a couple of islands now that one in 3 homes are empty.
Over the 50% margin. That's why I mention it.
Yeah, there's a couple of these islands that are just foreign owned. Yeah, they're foreign investors bought up these islands.
I guess the housing crisis that caused now makes them vote liberal. It's like liberal policies cause the sickness, the disease, and then they vote for more liberals, hoping for a cure.
Lone Ranger saying Newfoundland votes liberal. Yes, they usually do. Eastern Canada usually votes Liberal, and Western Canada usually votes Conservative, and then BC is usually the deciding.
We're like Florida.
Yeah, BC would be like Florida, the swing vote.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because, like me, I've lived in Ontario for about 3 years now, and when I came here, they had Kathleen Wynne in power, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then they put in Doug Ford.
Okay.
And I was kind of happy because I was living in the province where we had the first populist right candidate win the premier position. I would suppose you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at BC, I just watched it go from Liberal, which, to be fair, the Liberal Party in BC is not connected to the federal. They're much more sensible with the economy.
Mm-hmm.
They're rampant corruption with the housing. So, but then what one of these politicians aren't corrupt? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff they get away with nowadays is so brazen. It's like they don't even care what our opinion is anymore.
Yeah.
They just do it right on the open. They're like, what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to... what was the aero company, the aero industry company that Trudeau was embroiled with, and then he was...
that was a thing. Bombardier?
Bombardier. And then we got the Chinese billionaires. He's out whining, or they're whining and dining them at private dinners, paid to play access with foreign nationals. You know? And then you got the Celine scandal. Mm-hmm. You know, and then trying to subvert the law. You know, these politicians, and then these people want to vote for him again.
Yeah, no. That's not gonna fly.
I
All
don't
right,
know.
all right.
Say what?
Go ahead, finish off last words, and I'm gonna see if I can get somebody else on the show here.
Of course. I was gonna say I don't know. I don't know what it is with the lack of education, or I'm not sure what it is. What makes people think that it'd be a good idea to vote liberal at this point, other than maybe lack of education? Because I don't get it anymore. No, it's insane.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on and spending 40 minutes with us.
That was a fun time. Thank you, Hap, for having me on, Mike.
God bless. Someone's calling you there.
Someone text me, but for sure.
Okay.
Ciao for now, but
Take care. Bye.
bye-bye.
That's Real German Instincts in the house, and we got quite a bit going on right now on the ground, and it is interesting what is happening everywhere, guys. Send me a one-liner, guys, on Skype if you want to come on the show so I know. So we got Walking Journey in the house, who is down in Texas watching the Canadian elections. So also lots of people right now in Australia watching these Canadian elections here. And New Zealand, actually. I got a message here from New Zealand. Hey, Mike, just watching this because it's you. I never really followed Canadian elections, and I never knew it was this intense till now. Thanks for sharing with us. We are watching you on our television here in Christchurch, New Zealand. I'm going to have myself a little bit of lemon water here, wet my beak. Oh, man, I'm so feeling down about this election, man. So, numbers are coming in. People vote. All right, we got a bit of conservative movement here, too. Not really nothing for the NDP and the Bloc Québécois, the Green, NPPC, and other. So we got the live map here open for you guys here. I got the map here and giving us a little bit of insight. The only red province we have and / territory province / state is Newfoundland. All the way up to the islands is all bright red for now. Let's see if any more votes get tallied in from different centers. Let's see if we can get Moby on the phone. I want to see if he's alive and well, because Moby will be on... We'll be voting, and he didn't run in this election, but he did send me a picture of pipelines. I'm voting pipelines. Okay, so we got, okay, let's see if we can get Moby, if he's available for us, to tell us what's going on the ground. He'll probably get back to us once he sees that we are trying to get a hold of him. He usually calls back immediately. Moby is running he was running for conservativeness out in Ontario, and he is trying to get things rolling out there. Maybe he can give us some live footage of the voting and some of the polls where he's at. It'll be really good to have him on the show to give us an insight. Guys, get to the bottom of this video and share it to any type of social media possible. I don't care what social media you save this on. I don't care. Just go share it out there. Let's get it out there. I'm out knocking on doors. Okay, pick up. We are live. Let's see if he could pick up here. Hopefully he can give us a little bit of a down low on what's happening in his neck of the woods. Guys, if anyone that's watching this is voting NDP, if they could call into the show, I'd like to know why, or give us an insight on what you think. Okay, he could do a quick couple of minutes here. Get Moby on the show.
Mike, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Moby? Are you okay?
Pretty good. Oh, I'm doing great. I'm out knocking on doors and hitting the polling station and seeing how voters are reacting.
Okay, so what are you getting on the ground there?
Well, I'm getting on the ground. It's a fierce race. I mean, in my riding in particular in York Center, it was pulled as pretty much a dead heat. But I mean, looking at the numbers, at least the numbers that we're pulling, it's going to be pretty close. And I think at least the Conservatives here in York Center are going to put this one over the top.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to ask you. Okay, I'm just trying to get your. Is your video turned off for a sec? Is your video off?
It is. I could turn it on, but we're driving in the neighborhood right now, so it's a bit dark.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, I just want to get. So, okay, what are you feeling out there? You know, it looks like it's gonna go down to the knife at the end. I think it's gonna go down to the wire. What do you think?
I think it is going to go down to the wire. I think once we know all the results across the country, even like particularly in BC, which is a massive swing province, right? So we're going to see how that goes. I mean, looking at Toronto, the GTA, there's many swing ridings in that area, especially in Quebec as well, which unfortunately the Liberals aren't doing that well. We're going to see who picks up the most seats from there.
I just feel that we're going to see a huge divide in this country, and there's a lot of rhetoric that's going on of European descendants that originally immigrated to Canada in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Kids and grandkids of descendants are going back to Europe in big numbers, buying one-way tickets.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, judging by obviously, the rising cost of living and, things like the carbon tax that was implemented, which the Trudeau Liberals didn't even campaign on, right? A lot of people are pissed off with the way, the way the country's been governed, and they just don't even want to deal with it anymore. So they're just packing up and leaving. But on the flip side, I'm running into people who originally came here under, say, the Trudeau Liberals, the Trudeau Senior Liberals, and now they're like a lot of the seniors here who are still here. They're a bit disgusted by it, and they're switching their vote to Conservative this time around.
Oh yeah, they truly are. They're truly voting. What do you think? I don't want to hold you too long because I don't want to get you in trouble. But what about this new law? This new law they're passing that's called C-76. Basically, anyone falsely accusing or discussing anybody in political, I guess, going against them that's running, this law could lead up to 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine.
I think it's ridiculous. Obviously there is legitimate criticisms of any politician running for office, but I mean, the way I'm looking at it, it's basically trying to silence dissent, right? Or silence legitimate criticism. I think it's ridiculous, and a law like that shouldn't be passed at all.
This is disgusting because they're trying to say they're going to target the Russians and all this stuff and about a Canadian election meddling, but they're all pointing the finger at us.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's basically anybody who's critical or anybody who has legitimate questions. It's basically trying to shut them down and trying to shut them up. So, and I think it's ridiculous, and it shouldn't even be passed. It shouldn't even hit the Parliament floor whatsoever.
Yeah. And Carbon, what about that guy? It was a couple of weeks ago, was under scrutiny, and he looked like he was going to go to jail because he brought up old archives from 1890s about the carbon taxes that they were bringing up in the 1890s and trying to sell this off to farmers and to big cities that were ruining the earth. In the 1890s, they already brought up this carbon thing and carbon taxes. In the 1890s, they got rid of it after a couple of months that it didn't fly, and now they bring it back almost 110, 20 years later.
Well, you have to understand that before they brought back the carbon tax, they had to do a massive brainwashing program.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. And the real big push, obviously there was a big push in the 70s, but then there was a greater push by Al Gore and then and sort of people who followed him. And then it just seeped into our education system. And then from there, then it's like, oh, okay, now we can implement it after all this brainwashing. Well, but we'll see we'll see the effects of it. I mean, economically speaking, and then people who obviously can't afford the cost of living, they're just going to say enough's enough.
But the problem with this is, if we listen to Al Gore, Florida right now, 2 days should be underwater.
It should be, right? But it's not. So you like, so I mean, imagine if we listened to those people in the 70s, right, or in the 80s when they were talking about how we're going to have the next ice age, where we would be right now, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, there goes their credibility out the window.
No, but still, people still send money to Al Gore, and he's riding on his private jets.
Oh yeah, I mean, like they'll look. It's a case of do as I say, not as I do, right?
Right.
And it's famous with a lot of these climate pushers, like Al Gore and David Suzuki and all these other guys. Yeah, and obviously people like today's voting day, people are going to have their say about whether they want to play Trudeau or they want some economic relief. So we're going to see in the next few hours.
I'm very concerned. I am very concerned. It is pushing my buttons, and then this really pushed my buttons when I kicked off the show. Saying anything about this Bill C76, and you go and say something about somebody, and you could go to jail. This is like the Gulag age.
It is. It's unfortunate that it has to get to that. I mean, obviously there are some very powerful players that don't want maybe certain information about them to be released. So, I mean, what a crazier way to do it than try and pass a law like this, right?
But if you don't want your information released of things you do, then don't do it in the first place.
Or just try to keep your life private, right?
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, Mike, I gotta go knock on some more doors. I got about an hour and a half left.
Okay.
And then, hell, maybe I can. If you're still live streaming, maybe a few hours later, hey, maybe I can join you afterwards.
Yeah, join me, and we're gonna do the counting here. We're gonna be tallying up the votes here.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, God bless you.
All right, thanks for the call, Mike. Bye. Take care.
So that's Moby right now out in Toronto, Ontario, and he is knocking on doors, getting people to either vote for the Conservative. He's a Conservative Party member himself, so he's out there knocking on doors. So let's hope he gets anything but I don't know. I hope we could figure this out, because guys, I'm just not feeling it right now. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know why I'm not feeling it, but I'm just not feeling well about this, guys. I don't know why. I'm not feeling well about this, man. All right, we're getting in more stuff. We're getting in more live stuff coming in right now as we speak. Let's see where we're at. So we're getting in the votes from Newfoundland out east. We are getting it here, right here. So we are getting it. It's blood red here. And we still haven't, we're still waiting on Quebec here and the Halifax region here to come in with some voting. So that's going to be in the next 28 minutes. We should be getting some information coming in from this area here. But the votes are being tallied, and it looks like Liberals are up already as 7. So 170 needed for majority. So there's a long evening to go here on Mike Martin's channel. I want to thank everyone for joining. Guys, please, if you can, I'm going to ask really nicely to share this video. Go into the video right now. Share it to any piece of social media you got. Let's get all your conservative friends on here, your PPC friends on here, because there's too many liberal streams going on, and they're getting all the views with 100 subscribers. I have 11,000 subscribers, and I have 100 views. And there's people with 300 subscribers, and they have 3,000 views because they're pro-liberal, right? So get this out there, guys. Let's get more people watching here. Let's share this. Let's find out what's going on to our Canada and where Canada is headed. I am waiting here for some messages here in Canada. So if you're in Canada, I would like... Oh, God. Okay, I'm falling asleep here. I would like somebody to come on. Oh, we got Jimmy. Let's see if we get Jimmy on the show. Jimmy's on Skype. Let's call Jimmy. Jimmy Wright, you're on Skype, buddy. Pick up.
The person whom you're trying to reach.
I saw him in the comments. Jimmy, if you're awake, buddy, if you're around, if you are out and about, please let me know. I'd like to have you on the show as soon as you possibly can, because it is Elections Canada, and it is the elections in Canada And it is a big deal. And I had to cover this. I was going to go to my kids skating today, and I missed it. I love going to my kids skating. I don't like missing my kids skating. But it's just one Monday. I'll be back on the saddle next. It's a once every 4 years. This delusionalness spreads around, and people start to dreaming. Oh, we're getting in some from the Halifax region here. Okay, here we go, guys. We got a blue. We get a little bit of blue showing up here. We got some blue right here in this region right here. Polls have come in. So we got Conservative winning in the Egmont area here in northern Halifax. 41 going to Logan McLean. And then Bobby Morrissey in second with 30 points. And then Alex Clark, Green Party with 18. Holy crap. And then NDP 6. And down in Malpaek, again in the Halifax region, 37 for Wayne Easter, Liberal, winning a seat there. Well, so far, we don't know. Okay, let's just, I'm not confirming any here. Stephen Stewart, 19, Anna Keenan from the Green at 18, and Craig Nash for the New Democratic Party. So we are getting in the Halifax regions the Halifax area regions breaking down right now. We've already looked at the Nova Scotia, and it looks like Quebec. Oh, is it Quebec turning in blue yet? Not yet. We're still getting gray for the rest of Canada. So we'll keep you posted on the winnings there. We got Jimmy in the house. Jimmy, tell us what's going on, buddy.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Welcome to election coverage. Thanks for calling in. Okay, we're seeing already the east of Canada winning their Liberal, their Liberal ridings as they usually do.
Yes.
How are you feeling? What are you feeling, buddy? Tell us what's on your mind.
Well, I'm a little scared. I don't want Trudeau in for another 4 years because of all the scandals and everything that has happened. I believe he's a socialist at heart. So I think that it's still too early to call, though, because I think that coming across Canada, he's going to hit a little bit of a snag in Ontario. I think he's going to lose seats.
And I think he's going to lose through obviously Manitoba, Alberta, and he's going to lose Alberta and Saskatoon, right? Regina.
Yeah, especially Regina.
Yeah, he's going to lose all that, and then BC will be the swing.
Well, and BC, that's like Lower Mainland where I live. I think there's going to be a lot of Trudeau supporters down here, unfortunately. But on the upper end of that, which was NDP, I think at one point, I'm not sure how they're going to vote. And I don't want to say it's going to be a racist thing. They may not like Jagmeet Singh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got more writings in. 1 second here. We got more writings coming in from the Halifax-ish. Let me see here on the map here. Let me just kind of zoom this out so I can see where we're looking in the map here. Okay, we got another region come in the Halifax-ish region. Let me see if it's that one there. Yeah, it's the blue region here. So we got another blue win here in the Halifax. Oh, we got two blue. Do we have two? No, we got a win here in the Halifax region right now in Fundy Royal. So, awesome. 64 votes already tallied, and it looks like Rob Moore from the Conservatives is leading with 37 points. 14 with Alania Lockhart for Liberal, 10 for Tim Thompson Green, 2 for David Raymond Amos for the IND, Independent, and 1 for John Evans NCA, and then Rudy Neumeyer for the PPC with 0 and NDP with 0.
Well, I mean, there's a start.
Oh, we got another blue come in. All right, we got from the Miramichi Grand Lake. Oh, so Miramichi Grand Lake. Okay, yep. That is Peggy McLean winning with the Conservative Party with 22. Pat Finnegan with Liberal, 19. 7 with Eileen Clancy, 4 with Patty Diedrich, 4 with Matthew Grant, 3 with Ron and Nolan with PPC. So Conservatives are making a move right now in Eastern Canada.
Well, I think what's happening is that people are going to start making like really good choices. And do I think Andrew Scheer is the best leader? No, I really don't. But I've talked to a lot of people over the last 6 months, and they're saying to me, we don't know who to vote for.
Well, because none of them are actually, if you had one politician out in there that basically went against, like, well, you got the guy from PPC, right? And that's the only guy that's actually saying something about something when it comes to getting the books balanced and getting the economy straightened out and getting immigration under control. It's the PPC party. It's the only one.
Well, okay, Andrew Scheer has talked about the immigration problem, but you're right as far as the books balanced. Like, I don't know how anybody could vote for Trudeau when he told us that the books would be balanced in 2019.
Of course he's going to tell you that.
I know he's going to tell you that, but now you see that they weren't, and he's put us into another deficit.
Yeah. This other guy wants this guy from PPC. What I like about the guy from PPC is that he's looking to actually stop the foreign aid.
Well, and I agree with that as well.
Yeah. Why are we sending money to countries that don't like us?
Like, I put up a post today somewhere on Facebook about the amount of money that Trudeau sent to foreign aid. And it just blew my mind. Like, as long as we have people homeless on our streets, why are you not taking care of them?
Yeah, that's a huge problem. Remember on my channel, I've been talking about the opioid crisis, the fentanyl crisis, housing affordability, wages haven't moved in 40 years. It's disgusting. They're not talking about any of this crap. It's pipeline, global warming, climate change, pipeline, global warming, climate change, back to climate change, global warming, and pipeline.
Yeah, it's crazy. And to have this Greta lunatic Berg come over here, you're a 16-year-old girl. Go home and play with dolls. Like, go away. Sorry, that's my opinion.
No, that's okay.
You're coming over here and trying to tell Canadians, and we have Canadians in Alberta who have lost their jobs because the pipelines are shut down. And okay, get rid of your cell phone then. Get rid of everything that has oil in your life, and then come back to me and tell me how we should shut this stuff down.
Yeah, no, exactly. We got Jacob Marin saying, shout out Mike, my whole family loves your show. Jacob, my whole family loves you, buddy. And yeah, all Western provinces was the Western province. Yeah, it's hit and miss liberal. BC is kind of hit and miss, but Central Canada has always been conservative, and Eastern Canada, of course, has been very liberal. So it's going to be very interesting where this is going to head. Okay, Jimmy, let me ask you something.
Sure.
I brought this up earlier in the show, and you saw how mad I was earlier, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
C-76, Bill C-76, a package of election-related amendments passed late last year. It forbids falsely saying that a political figure has broken a law, making false statements about political figures, blah, blah, blah. Breaking this law could lead to up to 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. What does that say about common Canadians that want to criticize the elections?
Well, I already think we have laws on the books about that as far as libel and slander.
Oh, I'm not talking about slandering. I'm talking about just saying, maybe this. Well, I've been slandered. They created a website about me to get me out of town, remember?
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, they're trying to make up laws to protect themselves. Like, okay, if I say, if the Prime Minister did something and I say he did something and I say something extra, that's wrong.
Well, I understand that, but if you bring up something that they did before, something that they did when they were in high school or college or whatever, I mean, and it's true, they're trying to get at people to scare them for saying things. That's what it is.
Oh, is that what they're saying? Because I didn't understand it like that. But
Yeah, no,
if that's
it's
what they're
saying here.
saying,
Listen to this. Listen to
Okay.
this. Okay. Falsely saying that a political figure has broken a law, has been charged with breaking a law, or is being investigated. Every political figure is being investigated, regardless.
yes.
Everybody is. I'm being investigated right now as we speak.
No, we all are.
Making false statements about a political figure's citizenship, so you can't question if somebody oh, I worked with this guy's father and I know he wasn't born in Canada, and you want to bring that up, and for sure, so you can't even bring that up because okay, place of birth, education, professional qualifications. So if you want to call Trudeau a drama teacher, he doesn't qualify, you could do jail for that, or membership in a group.
See, I didn't read it like that. Although I don't agree with it. Like I thought they should have just left that alone. But okay, is that the same as Donald Trump saying that Obama was born in Kenya?
Yeah, like that.
Which he was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't read it like that, but I'm not sure. But I do agree with you.
This is actually from the Decisions Canada page.
Yeah, they're trying to make too many rules and regulations.
It's controlling speech, and that's what they're hoping to do.
I don't like that. The same as I said on my Facebook page today, something about M103, where I can't criticize Islam. Mm-hmm. What about if somebody else criticizes Christianity?
Oh, we get slandered all the time. That's why a lot of Europeans are going back to Europe, Jim. Didn't I tell you my friend is processes tickets in Eastern Canada for a lot of people taking one-way tickets back to Europe, people that immigrated here in the 50s, 60s, 70s. The kids of immigrants and the grandkids of immigrants that came in that time are all going back to Europe.
Because they're just done with everything.
Well, they came here for a better life, not for censorship and not being able to do what they want. And I mean, doing what they want on their own dime, right?
Well, I live here in the Lower Mainland, and we see a lot of, I hate to say reverse discrimination, but it pretty much is. It's like, you got the Chinese who come here, and they're only here, some of them only 6 months a year. Mm-hmm. And then you got the East Indians most of the East Indian people I've met have been very nice. Mm-hmm. But, you got some that are just miserable. Like they will be mean to my wife, and they'll try to be mean to me, but I don't deal with that very well. Mm-hmm. But we would love to move to a smaller place. And we probably will, but we're finding that anywhere in BC is getting pretty bad.
Well, yeah, we were reading the Douglas Todd article about how whites and Aboriginals leaving Vancouver in record numbers.
Oh, really?
It's up right now. Aboriginals and whites leaving Metro Vancouver for other regions of BC, particularly to live in the Fraser Valley, Vancouver Island, and the Okanagan, according to StatsCan. So this is from 2016. Wow. We got 9,345 whites leaving. 2017, 12,000. 2018, I think it was 22,000. And 2019, just in around 30,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So they're getting pushed out because affordability levels isn't there. And now even Steve Soretsky covered it on one of his videos. If you want to buy a condo in Vancouver, you have to go to Shanghai because that's where they reveal the condo and unveil it for sale in Vancouver. And they make fun of us saying that we can't afford to buy in our own countries.
I can't afford to buy a house here in Vancouver. And I'm 57 years old, and we make, a half decent living. So we live in an apartment, and we decided to live in a cheaper apartment. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a nice apartment. It's not good. We've been here 5 years, so it's not bad. But it's real. Like we could live in a better apartment if we want to, but why? We're saving money.
Okay, we got here Tobeke Makakak. Over in Eastern Canada there in the Nova Scotia area. We got the Conservative Party winning 17 so far with 17 points. Richard Bragdon, Conservative, 10 for Kesley McDonald, Liberal, 4 for Rowan P. Miller, Green Party, and 1 for NDP and 1 for PPC. We're finally seeing PPC on the map. And then we move over east to Grand Lake there. They are... we already covered this with Pat Finnegan there in second place. And let me see if there's any more blue on the map to update you guys on who is winning where and who and what. It looks like, we got West Nova. We got West Nova Scotia. Oh my God. We got 95. This one looks like it's in stone. 95 Crest de Edmont for Conservatives winning that area in West Nova. Jason Deveux, Liberal, 51. 19 Judy Ann Green for Green Party. Matthew Dubious for the NDP and 1 for Gloria Jane Cook for the VCP Party. So right now it's standing at 11 Liberals, 8 Conservatives, 1 NDP, and then everything else with 0.
That's
all right, Jimmy,
awesome.
Continue, buddy.
No, no problem. I'm just hoping that Justin Trudeau loses his seat.
Mm-hmm.
That's would be my goal, but I don't think it's going to happen. I really do. It's expensive in BC, and I come from Ontario, and I know it's expensive there now too. It's crazy all over this country. Mm-hmm. Like, why can't they have affordable housing for people?
Well, no. See, Jimmy, let's rephrase that. You don't want affordable housing. You don't want affordable housing. You want average wage earners to own average housing. You don't want to buy a mansion. You don't want to buy an estate. You don't want to buy Wayne Manor. You just want what Canadians had 20 years ago that earned an average wage, buy a nice 3-4 bedroom home for a reasonable price, because that's what the houses are worth. You're not asking for affordable housing. You just want housing to be within wages, right?
Yes, but the other term that I'm going into retirement age. I want to be able to buy a piece of property at an affordable wage or affordable price, and then put a tiny home on it. And a lot of places won't let you do that.
Yeah.
Or let me put an RV on it. I can live in an RV.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's my property. I want the right to put an RV on my property.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, guys, I'm getting very slow output streams here right now for some bizarro reason, guys. So I'm going to try and keep the stream up as long as possible till YouTube takes it down. So, guys, don't forget to go down in the comment section and save. Oh, we got my man Lawrence Wright. Hopefully he can get Skype on so we could call him here via show. Lawrence Wright, who is living in Colombia right now. Hopefully he could get Skype so we can get him on the show. Yeah, Elizabeth saying she voted PPC. Hall saying we got 4.1 trillion in unfunded liabilities. We owe 240 large each. And then it's lagging. People are saying the videos aspect is laggy. Sorry about that, guys. It's they want to get more feed and more bandwidth to the liberal channels, right? So we got the 13th disciple here in the house. Hopefully we can get him on the show later. So Jimmy, anything else you want to tell us?
Okay, no, listen. I'm gonna let you go, and I will talk to you we'll talk offline, but we'll another time. But thank you, brother, for letting me get on.
No, thank you so much for being on here and giving us your input. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk soon.
God bless you.
God bless you. Goodbye.
Okay, so that's Jimmy, my man Jimmy, and he's come up to visit me several times up at the shop. Living in the Lower Mainland, and seeing the mass exodus of people leaving in huge numbers is scary to him. Seeing just people he grew up with relocating and moving to other places of the country, it is very, very scary. So we're getting a bit of a lag here. They want to allocate a little bit more bandwidth to the more liberal channels to give them more voice, you know what I'm saying? So it says we have 150 people watching. Guys, if we get kicked off, 100, no, it's 130. 130 people watching. If we get kicked off, come back to the show, guys. Share this every time I get kicked off. Share this video every time, so people could say they're cutting this guy off. They're cutting this guy off. Okay, let's see if we can get Stereo Mario here on the show, the 13th disable. We got someone else that wants to come on. I think he's in the States, though. If you're in Canada, let me know. Oh, my Skype is Mike Martens 1980. I've put it up many times, guys. Mike Martens 1980. The way it's spelled on the bottom of the screen there. Mike Martens 1980. Guys, no swearing when you come on the show, guys. Because you don't want this channel to be taken down, and then none of us could get out there anymore. None of us could. We lose every little twig. I'm a little twig on a tree. See, like I'm not part of any of the major parts of the tree. I'm just a little twig, and I'm holding up one little leaf. And that one little leaf wants to grow, and that little twig wants to branch out. That's what I'm trying to do, guys. I'm just trying to do this for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Added you on Skype if needed a perspective on housing here. Yeah, please, Anthony, can you send me a one-liner right now? I'm not seeing you here, buddy. Send me a one-liner here, and I could see that you're trying to message me, because I got over 1,100 people here on Skype, so it's really, really hard. Come on. So we got, what are we doing here? So guys, we're getting hit with bad streaming, obviously, you know, because everyone's watching the election and everybody's watching. So let's see where we're going now. We are looking at the seat points here. Now, 170 is needed to win the majority here in Canada. So what are we looking at? Liberals at 16, Conservatives 9, New Democratic Party at 1, the Bloc Québécois 0, Greens 0, PPC 0, and other 0. So let's zoom into the provinces / states / counties / Anthony here from Vancouver. Anthony, yeah, okay, buddy. Here you go. Let's get you on the show. We're calling Anthony right now from Vancouver to give us an insight on the homelessness and what is happening down there. We got Victoria in the house from Edmonton. Yo, Antonio, lower your volume there. How you doing?
Hey, man. Sorry, I was just watching the channel there.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Okay, so you want to tell us a little bit about... So when I left Vancouver a few years ago to move to my small town, I could tell you the homelessness was just completely out of control. The rampant drug use, people using drugs in public, like shooting up, using hard drugs, fentanyl use, overdoses, body bags. Go ahead, you tell us your story.
Yeah, the Vancouver homeless here, it's still pretty out of hand. I actually work in the nightlife industry. I work at a nightclub up here on the top of Water Street near Cordova.
Okay.
And I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Every night when I'm driving into Gastown to work, the homelessness is completely rapid. There's a huge tent city over here at what we call Pigeon Park.
Yes.
Up here on the Hastings and Main area, the city has actually put in some new developments going down from Hastings and Main towards Hastings and Abbott. There's some new buildings, new apartment buildings, and the homelessness has completely taken over. Like, they're all hurdled there on the block. All the retail spaces that are in the newer infrastructure there is still for lease. No one's leasing anything there. There's a lot of vacant property in that area as well because of the homelessness issue.
Right.
It's actually gotten so bad now to the point of where we're telling our coworkers not to park outside of our work in Gastown area because too many people are getting broken into.
Yes.
The cars are getting broken into. So we have to actually go and park in the pay lots down the block there. And even then, we're seeing cars getting broken into, even then.
Wow. Hold on 1 second there.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're getting numbers in from New Brunswick Southwest. Numbers have been coming in. It looks like it's almost in stone here with a total of 130 votes. It's almost in stone. It looks like John Williamson of the Conservative with 52, Karen Ludwig and Liberal 43, Joanne, with the Green 17, Douglas Mullen NDP, and with 15, and Merle Sarti, PPC, and PPC is getting a little bit of traction there. But it looks like the Conservatives are starting to pick up a little bit on the race here in Eastern Canada, which is kind of unusual because Eastern Canada usually sits blood red during the elections, like you see here on the map. But it looks like the Conservatives have 7 points in that riding there so far, 7 seats in that riding, so it looks good. So remember, guys, 170 is needed for a majority, guys. So let's keep our pulse on Eastern Canada. Okay, go ahead, Anthony. Tell us. So homelessness, it's rampant. Fentanyl, all this crap, and then affordability. Have you seen a lot of your co-workers and friends and high school friends moving away because they can't afford to live in the city?
Yeah, I have. I actually know quite a few people who have gone into Alberta, coincidentally. I know a couple of people who have moved more into the Toronto area, which I don't really see. I don't really see that as a fix either. Their real estate's through the roof there as well. Property-wise, I mean, we're seeing the inflation is just it's skyrocketed over here, right? I mean, it was unaffordable a few years ago, and now it's just completely unaffordable. There was actually a property down the block from me here. It's a complete teardown. It's got boarded windows, boarded doors. They were asking 1.4 million just for the land.
1.4 million pesos?
No, 1.4 million Canadian just for land.
I believe you. I'm just trying to be sarcastic.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, considering that in 2018 the BC assessment I think was 1.8. Right, we saw a little bit of a drop in the real estate prices there, but they seem to have bottomed out since then. It's just going back up now.
Yeah, it's getting scary, bud. It's getting really scary because, especially with them raising property taxes, because property prices fell, they raised property tax to keep that money afloat for these cities, for their expenditures and stuff, to keep these things running, doctors and all that stuff running. But I'm very scared about this because we're looking at a huge uncertainty going into the next couple of days. I mean, is this election going to do anything for us, or is it just another hiccup that we're going to have to deal with and clean up after?
I think it'll just be another hiccup. I mean, the fact that they didn't really discuss the housing crisis.
They never discussed housing,
in the debate.
Homeless.
I mean, that should tell you a lot right there about where their priorities stand, right?
Would you be surprised if I told you that people are packing up and moving back to Europe in huge numbers?
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
I actually I'm half Italian here, so my Italian side of the family has a property up there in Bagnoli, and they've considered just going back there.
Yep, I don't blame them. A lot of people are considering going back to Europe and keeping those ties strong and raising or continue raising their grandkids or kids there and moving to the next level. I got my eye on the door too. I read this, what do you think of this law? Let me get your input on this. Bill C-76. It's an amendment, and basically if you make false statements about a political figure's citizenship, place of birth, education, professional qualifications, or membership in a group, you could face to 5 years in jail or a $50,000 fine.
Oh, that's ridiculous. You're just taking away your freedom of speech. It almost comes off like a dictatorship, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, where else do they implement stuff like that? Like North Korea, right?
Yeah. Well, North Korea, they don't fine you because you don't have money in North Korea. They just kill you.
They just kill you,
yeah.
Right? I mean, what are they going to start killing us too?
Well, don't laugh. It's happened many times in many places before.
Yeah. It's getting pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So, what do you see? Who do you want to win this election?
To be honest, where I stand in regards to politics, I'm pretty uncertain. It's not that I haven't done, any research or anything, but in regards to the whole the economy as a whole and the bubble that we're in, I mean, we're just blowing more air into the bubble, and if we've reached a time here in history where we're very, very uncertain about the outcome. And I'm thinking that regardless of who we're going to vote for, it's going to be inevitable, and I think very soon it's going to be inevitable that this bubble is going to pop, right?
Well, it has to, because the Canadian proper is out
yeah.
of reach, and with us exporting, or Canada's major exports is doctors, plastic surgeons, everything that's in the professional teachers. We're losing so many teachers to the state of Florida and South Carolina and Georgia. Do you ever watch my show, Anthony, when I show houses like 7 bedrooms for 150 grand in the States?
Yeah, I have. I was watching one the other day. You were looking up there about the 5-6 bedrooms are going for about 250 grand or so. Big mansions.
Yeah. And in good states. And you know what, Anthony? Hand to God, I lived in some of these states, and I could tell you what they are about. Okay, and I know. Okay, I just hear people are paying more, and then when the people say, "Oh, housing in the States is cheap," no, it's not cheap. It's what wages are supposed to be. Canadian housing should be where wages are supposed to be, and they should be 60% cheaper.
Yeah, well, there's an equilibrium there, right? Here, it's again, like you said, it should be cheaper. I mean, we can point fingers at the money laundering and the Chinese all we want, but at the end of the day, it's been because of the government and the government policies, right?
Of course, because we don't do nothing to criminals here.
Yeah, one thing that I've actually been noticing, I speak on behalf of my generation. I'm 25 years old. A lot of people my age that are living in downtown Vancouver are actually being crammed into condos. Right, like 1-2 bedroom condos. I'm seeing 5 or 6, 7 people living in one condo, right? Just to afford rent, just to get by, and keep in mind that these people are working 2 or 3 jobs on top of that, right?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Just to afford, yeah.
There was a story I covered in New Zealand where there was a house in New Zealand. Okay, there was 44 people living in it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a story I covered. Yeah. So. It's pretty tough. And then a lot of Canadians are getting swindled into these cheaper rents, and then they're being subleased, and then the person has to pay last month, 6 months rent up front, and then the person that's subleasing it takes off with the money and doesn't pay the rent to the original guy, and then has basically just ripped off 5-6 grand off somebody.
Yeah, that's just wrong, man. That's just people capitalizing off the misery here. Really.
Yeah, it's people capitalizing off the misery of others, and it's
that's man, that's really wrong to hear. That actually pisses me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Antonio, thanks for coming on the show, brother. Join us on Mike in the Night if you ever want to come. Saturday nights, 9 p.m. We're live. We just talk about whatever's happening. We just covered, if you missed this Saturday's Mike in the Night, you might want to watch what's happening in Chile right now and in Hong Kong and other countries. The riots are out of control.
I was up the other night watching Mike in the Night. Actually, was seeing what's going on.
Did you
in
see what's
Chile,
happening
Ecuador,
in Chile?
You're talking about? Yeah, it's about the fare hikes or something like that.
Well, that's
right?
what took in Brazil. That's what took it in Brazil,
That's in
and
Brazil,
it took millions of people to the streets.
Yeah, it seems like all the peripheral economies, I want to say. I'm not sure if you use that term, but all the peripheral economies around us seem to be up in airs here. I don't think it'll be long before it starts hitting more of the mainstream Western society here, right?
Yeah.
It won't be long. Anyways, thanks for having me, man.
No, thanks for coming on. Have a good day, buddy.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right, so that's Anthony from Vancouver calling in and giving us an update. So this really I was beaking off earlier in the show. I was really upset when I saw this. The disputed section of Bill C-76, if you say basically anything against somebody, like making false statements about a political figure, citizenship, place of birth, education, professional qualifications, or membership in a group, breaking this law could lead you up to 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. Yep. That's why a lot of people are going back to Europe right now. I've been talking to a lot of people, and they're heading back to Europe. All right, let's see what's happening here, guys. Let's pull up some numbers for you, updated numbers here for you guys. Okay, so Eastern Canada is voting right. Votes are coming in. We're seeing a lot of red. We are seeing a lot of red. We got the Lost Canuck calling into the show. Yo, Mario, what's up, dog? Mario, you there? Okay, Mario, what's up, dog? I can't hear you, bud. I can't hear you, buddy.
How about now?
Oh, I hear you perfectly. I hear you perfectly, man.
Take these earmuffs off now.
Okay, so what is going on, buddy?
Well, I just came back from voting. I know you're on the show of voting. It's the first time I've seen Barrie. I've been at 3 federal voting, I guess to say, experience. This is my 3rd one.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen so many people.
Really?
I think the numbers are going to be bigger than they ever been. I'm going to say the population is probably at 65%, and that's huge compared to the previous. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a very big turnout, to be honest with you. So you are in central, Barrie, Ontario.
Yes, it's the voting polls for Barrie and Innisfil. So we have the PC that won the last one, and he's probably going to be close to winning it again, because the Liberal, if you listen to her, she's got no education. No education.
Well, that's what they want to. That's what they want to appeal to those people, right?
Yep. And a lot of numbers are coming in now, but it's more Newfoundland and that, so people got to just calm down, because we're waiting for Ontario. That's what we're waiting for. Quebec and Ontario will start coming in with the numbers. Anyway, Mike, how's things, man? Long time no speak.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I've been very busy. Been very busy, just with life in general, and it's been just a couple of busy months. You know, I lost my dad, and then we're just picking up after that.
I know. I talked to you after that. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And I wanted to not only, you could say I also wanted to go out with you, and I guess you've been busy. I don't know if you're coming back to Toronto or Brampton, whatever. I know your mom sold the place.
Yeah.
Everything went well for your mom's closing, I guess.
Yeah, everything went well. So she got out free and clear, so she's good.
So here, you're still online.
Mm-hmm.
You're still on YouTube, and you had previous callers. And I want to say, first of all, to all the Canadians out there, we are in not only an illusion, Mike, if I can say it. I said it on my video a couple weeks ago. No matter who we put in, unless it's a really big underdog, which I don't think he will win.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we don't know, right? Till it goes talking about, and the guy that was on your show is pretty educated. But what really irritated me is when he talks about immigrants that are collecting a pension and then going back to their country. I'm going to say something to that. I'm going to say something that's very deep.
I don't think he said that. I don't think he meant it like that.
Well, the way he said it, Mike, I'm not here to conflict with him, but he's got to understand. People make their pension and pay their taxes.
Right.
So whatever they do after, that's their discretion. Right. They don't have to stay in this country. If they don't want to be here and they don't think they're going to make a living, which they don't, and they can go somewhere else, they paid their taxes. They've Mike, they contributed. It's not like they didn't.
I think he's talking about people that are coming in and getting a pension. Just grabbing a pension as they arrive.
Yeah, well, it's not much of a pension, Mike, unless you're working 25, 30 years consistent, because the CPP is a joke. If you're relying on CPP to pay somebody's pension, you're lucky if you get $300 a month on an average person that comes for 10 years. So it's not a lot of money, Mike. Trust me. I looked into this stuff. It's when somebody comes in here, not just immigrants. What about people that are Canadian born and don't even work? Collect the welfare. Are they eligible to get a pension? Of course they are. So it's things that we have to be careful how we say it and what we mean. Maybe he meant different. I don't know. But it's just, I don't want your channel to get shut down or be called racist. You know what I mean, Mike? You know what I'm getting at. They're very touchy.
No, you know I'm not a racist.
No,
I'm very. How do you say multicultural?
Yeah, I got color TV, so I'm not racist. But anyway. The other thing I want to talk about, Mike, is also the you said it on one of your videos, and it was a perfect example how the schools and the system itself is libertarian more than any other party. it's showing us a true color. We have Obama coming here twice, not once, twice, and that what really bothers me. If he's close to Trudeau, I don't want this guy to even run again. And hopefully, history will repeat itself with facts that a Trudeau will never win a second term. One of them resigned before the second term came in effect, and hopefully this guy will lose in an election.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if Ukraine's involved, who knows what can happen, right?
Right.
We don't know. George Soros is in it. We don't know. This is listen, Mike. People don't understand how big this is, and Trump hasn't said it. This is huge for Trump because I'll explain to you something. If he gets a party in there that's outside Trudeau, he's got at least a backhand that he can use. But if that Trudeau wins this election again, he doesn't have a backhand. This guy's just a puppet.
Right.
So he's going to be fighting a wind, which he'll push over, but still, it's an enemy at the end of the day. But it's very interesting how people go out to vote today that have no, Mike, if I tell you, they have no common sense. They don't follow politics. They think it's the liberals from 25. You remember Portugal and Italy people, they vote for liberal because that's all they know. Oh, they've always...
Yeah, but 25, 30 years ago, that was the way to vote because there were true liberals back in the day.
That's right. That's right.
Because they're like liberals, as in like almost libertarian, where they believe they pay for what they make, and they're very conservative liberals, though.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. And I think that's what people get confused because all the pensioners, we have high numbers of pensioners, and it's between the conservatives and the liberals. That's all it is. The young ones that are under 25 to 18, they vote for more for NDP. They're into school, so they're voting for more for an NDP, a lower party that deals with their situations, or it says they do. So it's going to be very interesting. It's showing me seats already in some areas, and of course,
yeah, I'm going to cover
leaving.
that right now. God, here, guys, let's just zoom into Eastern Canada. We are seeing. Hold on, let me just zoom this up a bit here. Let's refresh this. This is live election rules updated, and it is updated every 1 to 3 minutes. So here we are, guys. Liberals have 23. Remember, guys, 170 is needed for a majority. Conservatives sitting at 6, NDP at 1, and Quebecois at 0, and the Green at 0, and PPC at 0, and other at 0. But, guys, we're only getting into Eastern Canada still. We still haven't hit Quebec yet. I think we're going to see a huge movement in Quebec. And, oh, we got one orange. St. John's East. Okay, who is this? Oh my God, we got NDP in there.
Yeah, we do.
All right, I'm just trying to see if this thing could. It's not refraining properly here. It's not loading properly here. Okay, here we go. We got St. John's East orange. We got the first orange. So we got NDP here in first, and then we got Liberal in second with 3,148. And then remember that St. John's is big, right? It's a big city, right? And then we got Conservative at 1,757, and then we got the Green Party at 157.
Yeah.
So NDP's got a bit of orange. I'm not informed this year because of them wanting to federalize the pharmaceuticals. That is very dangerous, Mario. Very dangerous, Madonna Mia. Tell me, buddy.
Yes, that is. That's profit in the government, and that's being like... It's like, Mike, it's like the States. Now that he passed the executive board down south, people don't understand that he's actually getting cheaper medication to his people. So before, the Americans used to pay a lot more than us, and the reason is they're paying for everybody else.
That's right.
Now it's the other way around, and that's why he's doing that. He wants to get funds to get dental and everything taken care of. First of all, let me explain something, Mike. We've always talked about this. Governments are never talking about what you said, homeless and affordability. You know what they talk about? Just like our beautiful mayor of Toronto, affordable housing. First of all, that word is overused. It's not a word that's properly...
it's not affordable housing. It's going to be fair housing program. Average wage earners should choose a house an average house, not a mansion, not a farm. Not a plantation. People should be able to afford to buy an average house on average wages, period.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to say to everybody out there, why doesn't the government step in and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do? starting at a certain time so everybody can sell their houses, especially these so-called investors, saying by April 1st of 2020 that we want to tax people that have a second home as an income. So let's say a guy owns another house. He decides to sell it. There should be a 60% return to the government.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many houses will go on the market the next day?
Everything.
Before that effect? Yes. So then you'll have a house correction. So not only you're not going to have it's going to be called able to buy a home as a regular Canadian, not affordable housing. Affordable housing is just another word of saying non-profiting housing, which we all know what that means. People that are on welfare can't afford to pay rent, so they put you in those homes.
No, because that's not fair, because a lot of people want to be productive, because there's a lot of people that are not productive right now that want more out of their lives.
That's right. That's right. And I'm telling you, buddy, we're going to get high numbers, eh? I'll be shocked if they're low again, but I got a funny feeling that this guy scared a lot of people in Ontario and Quebec and probably in BC, that you're getting a lot of people coming out to vote that never voted. I'm talking our age. I'm talking 35 to 50. These people are coming out to vote, and they're serious because they see what's going on with the housing, number one. Number two is the immigration issue, and they want things to be fixed. And, and again, I'm going to say it again. If this guy ends up winning again, we're in trouble. That's all I can tell you. We're in trouble. Our debt is running like crazy, and hopefully we can get everybody to start jumping on. And you know what? It's unfortunate that we have to cut on certain things. The one thing, Mike, I explained to you before, I don't want things cut like the autism programs, needs programs. Those things should not even be touched.
Right.
There's, I'm a parent. I don't have these, and these poor parents that have this is a big, big responsibility. And I would want the government to put more money into that and help these parents out and able to, be able to do what they have to do and get somebody in that house maybe 3 times a week to help them, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I can't imagine it. But it's one thing I don't want to see the government cut. If the thing that I want to see cut are things that make sense. First of all, like we've always said, you own a second home, you're making a revenue or you're getting rent, that rent should go right to the federal government. So if you're getting $2,000 to pay your mortgage, guess what? Government comes in and takes $1,200. That's your tax for 60%, because the other one goes to pay your mortgage.
Right.
That's how you control it. You don't have to get into their nose. You just have to limit what they can get.
Right.
So you're not going to have foreign people coming in here and pretending they're buying homes, or fake companies buying homes, because there's no money to be made. Once you take that ingredient and put it in place and have a backbone to our system, then you're going to implement it, and then now me or you or anybody out there can go buy a 4-bedroom home under $300,000 anywhere.
Because that's what our wages depict housing to be.
That's right. That's right.
If our wages depicted housing to be what they are right now, we should be making in and around $120,000 a year just to keep our head above water.
That's right.
And that's why everyone's borrowing off their equity in their homes, and the ones that don't have homes are racking up student loan debt. I had a guy I spoke to from Manitoba that took student loans out to buy groceries.
Holy crap. Anyway, I bought my wife a new car, so I just wanted to give you that information. Toyota Corolla hatchback, beautiful car, man.
Yeah, you bought her a Toyota Corolla. You didn't buy her a Ferrari.
No. I can't afford that. The Ferrari's mine, buddy. Actually, I want to buy the Trans Am if you haven't looked at it.
Oh, the Trans Am's got a new car again?
No, there's a couple of guys down in Florida. They're actually taking the shell of a Camaro and putting it into a supercar, into Trans Am and GTO, the Judge. You should watch it. I'll send it to you a link. Anyway, that's why I called in the show, just to keep in touch with you. I would like to call on Wednesday night. We'll talk more about housing. But this thing here, I'm telling you, I've never seen Barrie like this. There's a big lineup. It took me a good 30 minutes to get in to vote. Usually it takes me 10 minutes, maybe 15. It's double the time. Maybe it was busy time because it's after dinner. People are coming back from work, and it's like Christmas shopping. They wait till the last minute. But I say big numbers are coming out, and don't be surprised if you see the Green Party make a good move today, because they got a lot of support, here in Ontario.
The Green Party.
Yep.
Dude,
She's
you're
got a lot of
scaring me.
support up here in Barrie, man. She's moving up the ladder. So it's going to be interesting to see if they go ahead of NDP or ahead of anybody. Who knows, right? We don't know until Ontario and Quebec. So everybody should watch your channel and turn off the CBC and stop watching libertarian channels. And they should also turn it off and turn it back on at 10:30. Then you'll see the real numbers come up.
Yeah, because I'm having a tough time just keeping my stream up because I'm getting, because they want to avert more and more people from my channel to the liberal channels so they could get a stream. So guys, if you're watching this, guys, this is Mario DeSetti's a Lost Canuck, aka the 13th Disciple. He's gonna comment later in the comment section. Don't forget to go over to his channel and subscribe. He's got some good content he's gonna be pumping out soon. In the next season coming up, so it's going to be really good, especially after this election when things are going to happen. Hey, Mario, I need your opinion on this new law they're passing, or they passed last year, and they're putting it into law, Bill C-76, that if you make false statements about a political figure's citizenship, place of birth, education, professional qualifications, membership in a group, breaking this law could lead you up to 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine.
And is that law already put in place, or it's still got to pass?
Well, that's what it says here. It says bill. So this is the disputed section, and it's saying that they want the case to be looked over again. So they're challenging this in the courts. So when they bring something up, you know what happens. It ends up going through in the end.
Yeah, it does. But unless you have a person that'll challenge it, which we'll never have because they'll get threatened, you have to go under our BNA Act, which the gentleman called before and said we're the Queen, we're in a marquee, not more than a prime minister. But you have to understand, he has to slow it down a little bit because the roots are that we wrote in a constitution that's under the BNA Act, which is the British North American Act, which we are a colony of the British, the English. So it's written in 1867. Now, when you read that, you got to understand you cannot change laws like you just said unless somebody challenges it in court. But a court is like a referee. Mm-hmm. If you don't have a challenge, they're going to pass it. They're just going to pass it. And of course, Trudeau and whoever the federal government is going to put their buddies in federal court. We've seen it done in the past. So of course he's going to pass this law. So our freedom of speech are going to be even more worse than it is now. So you're going to be put in jail because you're giving false statements of what? If somebody does something, just like he did with that construction company, and he's winning in polls, Canada, are you? I'm trying to scratch my head. Are you guys okay? This guy's not going to change, man. He's going to destroy a country. He's going to him and Bill Marlow sold our housing market in 2015, Home Trust. They sold it in Seattle to Warren Buffett. That was a bunch of hoax. All they did was got all the banks together to loan this money to Home Capital without anybody knowing a paper trail of $2 billion to give to Mr. Home Trust. Apparently, he paid the loan off. So, Mike, like you said, we should have had 3 corrections, but that correction should have been a correction. So the B lender should have crashed, and then you would have saw the housing market go to a 40% decrease on resales right away. But, of course, the helicopter came in. Bill Marlow and Trudeau, fraud came in and threw it on the ground, and this is where we are today. So, people, it's up to you who you want to vote for. At the end of the day, we got to live with it, Mike, no matter what. Can't cry.
Yeah, Mario, wise words there. You're right. You are right.
And one thing I want to say, Mike, is the faith. You know me with faith. Without Christ, we're nothing. We're just a number.
That's right. Without a soul, you're nothing.
That's right. So, at the end of the day, you have your soul that's worth priceless. So they can't take that away from anybody, no matter who's in power, who's making the changes. The only thing is we can hope that this country starts to go the way we want it to go, and that working class will be treated as working class, not dummies. But anyway, Mike, let other people call in. I want to say hi to you and your wife and kids. Hope everything's well.
Yeah, everything's great, buddy. I appreciate it.
No problem, buddy. We'll keep in touch. Thanks, buddy.
God bless you.
Yeah. Ciao.
Ciao. So that is a Lost Canuck from Barrie, Ontario, and we got our friends Lawrence Lawrence here trying to call into the show. Let me call Lawrence right now really quick. He's out in Colombia right now. He is a Canadian citizen who took off to Colombia because he saw what was happening here in Canada. And no, he's a whitewashed Canadian. Lawrence,
Hey,
you
Mike.
there, buddy?
I'm here.
Thank you for calling into the show. And what is going on? So I told her, give people a little insight that you moved to Colombia, basically. You saw what was happening in Canada, and you realized that things were getting tough, and you were basically working in accounting, doing your thing here in Canada. So give us a little bit of insight on what's going on and what you think is going to happen now in these elections.
Well, I'm kind of far removed from it, Mike. I must admit, the riding that I would otherwise be voting in is probably the safest conservative riding in the country, and so I confess that I did not take the time and expense to go to the embassy in Bogota to vote, to register to vote. I guess you can vote as an absentee now.
Yes, you can.
I spend 5 months a year in Canada, the warm months, of course. My income is there. I pay taxes there, so I want to keep my provincial health care.
Mm-hmm.
But really, for the rest of the year, honestly, why be surrounded by idiots and be cold at the same time? If I'm going to be surrounded by idiots, at least I'm not cold.
Yes, that's a really good point you bring up there.
So I admit it, I'm selfish, very, very selfish. I targeted Colombia years ago. It does not really fit the preconception that most people have. Really, in my judgment, if you have any measurable income at all, the quality of life here is far, far superior than having medical care. Medical care here is, and not only from my experience, the World Health Organization says so. You see, so far my own experience.
Mm-hmm. So now let me ask you, what was the number one thing that drove you away from Canada? Yes, idiots and cold weather, but what was it? Is it just the cost of living was getting just too damn expensive for the standard you're receiving? The standard of living you're receiving isn't worth the cost of living?
Well, yes. I mean, I could have a decent standard of living there if I wanted to, but I had a very, very good standard of living here for a whole lot less. Now, just for anybody else who may be close to retirement age, pass on a little bit of information. You have to get to live here as a pensioner. You have to get a pensioner's visa, and you have to have income that is what is described as defined benefit. It would be, and the only for most people, especially in a case like mine where I was self-employed, the only defined benefit income I have is Canada Pension Plan and Old Age Security. RSPs, private investments, in blue chip Canadian stocks, they don't qualify. But a couple here could live quite reasonably on the total of their Canada Pension Plan and Old Age. They would have an income that would give them with class income here. Just those alone.
Yeah.
Now,
because a lot of snowbirds used to go down to Florida. A lot of them now are going to Portugal, and I heard quite a few of them are going to Colombia, and quite a few of them are going to.
Oh, did I lose you there?
Yeah, I got you back. Go ahead.
No, okay, I got you. Yeah. You were saying a lot of people are going where?
A lot of snowbirds in Canada now, they stopped going to Florida. A lot of them are going now to Portugal and Colombia.
Yes, and quite a lot to Ecuador.
Yeah, Ecuador too. Sorry, Ecuador too, in Quito. Yeah, quite a few snowbirds spending 5-6 months of the year in Quito.
Yes, and it's, the language is not that big a deal. Now, in my case, I speak pretty reasonable Spanish, but I know retirees down here who speak little or none.
Mm-hmm.
And in the world that I'm in, even though I speak Spanish reasonably well, I'm probably speaking English more than half the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I probably could speak English a lot more than I do, but in situations where if I'm in a group and Spanish is the only language that's the common language, or if somebody can speak English but is not as comfortable in it as they otherwise would like to be, then I speak Spanish. But you could probably, if you have any reasonable amount of income, you could hang out in circles here where you need little or no Spanish.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know in your case you speak both Portuguese and Spanish. So
yeah, I speak Portuguese and Spanish.
In my case,
the whole 10 yards, buddy.
Yeah. Now, in my case, when I hear Portuguese, I understand it if they speak slowly. Okay. Yeah. And when I speak Spanish, they understand me. They understand me very well. So I've never had an issue in having them understand me.
Mm-hmm. So it's good to hear that you're doing well in Colombia. You left Canada. You got tired of the cold. You got tired of everything. And,
Yes, I'm in Canada for 5 months plus a day. That's what is required to... Oh, I lost poor connection again. Darn.
No, I'm here.
My Wi-Fi here is... Oh, okay. No, I stay in Canada for 5 months plus a day.
Yeah. And you come visit me at my store. That
entitles me to keep my... I did, because when I landed in Canada last April, I left my car at my son's place in Victoria, and I drove into the interior, and I came across your channel actually when I was down here last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a lot of time in Armenia, and you could get a pretty livable apartment, a pretty reasonable place for 100 grand Canadian, pretty reasonable place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, probably less. And you have to understand that in this climate down here, you're, unless it's raining, you're outdoors most of the time anyway. We don't, in a warm climate, and you've been in warm. The
Lawrence, you there?
Space that we need in Canada, really yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad.
Yeah, it's my Wi-Fi. People here, even wealthy people, live in apartments. You have to understand that we don't need the indoor living space that we need in Canada because of our cold weather.
Yeah, like when I was in Florida, I didn't need a big living space.
You can be outside most of the time.
Yeah. So can we buy real estate in Colombia? Someone's asking.
Yes, you could. I would advise against it because rent is cheap, and I think when a person is retired, I really think the key is liquidity and mobility. I really do.
Yeah.
And
owning an asset like that could be a handicap.
It could be a boat anchor. You see, if things go sideways, and so far they haven't. If things go sideways, I can pack up and leave. But don't forget, Venezuela is right next door.
Yeah.
And that's a failed state.
Yeah.
Now, things are good here, but Colombia's had problems before. So a big footprint here, and I always want to be in a position where if things really, really go crazy, I can jump on a plane. But so far, I've been here 10 years. So far, that has not been necessary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, Lawrence, I'm going to let you go. We were breaking up pretty bad, but we got your message. We'll have you on Mike in the Night Show. Maybe, hopefully, you get your Wi-Fi to calm down a bit. But we'll get you on the Mike in the Night show if you could come on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for calling in and giving us the input. And maybe we could do a segment in a show one night to give us a little input on what's happening and what people should look forward to when living in a different country 6 months out of the year, you know?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I can definitely give you any listener some good advice. But that way it's easy for me to communicate with you. I've been bugging you about that.
Okay.
Get that on you have an Android. You have an Android, I think. So get that, and then it's really easy to communicate. It ties you into the whole world. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, that's our man Lawrence in Colombia, former Canadian living in Colombia, who basically could live off his Canadian pension and living a very higher standard of life in the stream's getting cut, guys. A lot of complaints in the comment section. Guys, it's up to YouTube whether or not, unless I start pouring gravy down my pants. Yeah, stream connection is crap, guys. I'm really sorry about this. It keeps cutting. There's nothing I could do, guys. I am doing everything by the book here. I have the highest level of... I think we could all agree that nothing's going to change up in the next 4 years. You never know, guys. You never know. All right, what's going on? Woo! Oh, God, I've been here for almost 3 hours talking here. So, whoa, we got some changes here. So, what do we got here? All right. There's nothing I could do about this connection. There's nothing I could do, guys. I mean, I don't know what more I could do, guys, because I'm trying to get this rolling here. And then YouTube comes in and says, well, he's talking more conservative junk. So let's just call him a racist and cut back on this. Because what YouTube is doing is they're allocating bandwidth. Right? So a channel like mine does not get allocation of bandwidth. No, it's not Rogers. I'm with Shaw. Hopefully this thing comes back up. I don't know what to tell you guys. Every time I get a good number of people watching, it cuts off, and then this live stream gets getting eaten up and cut off. So I don't know what more I could do to get this live stream going stronger, guys. I don't know what to do, guys. Yeah, they love throttling people, guys, and that's what's been happening, guys. They're throttling the channel, and no, it's not Wi-Fi booster, guys. It's not Wi-Fi booster. I'm hardwired connected into the internet. There's a Ethernet cable going in. There's no Wi-Fi on this system. This system is solely independent with one independent direct router from the internet provider. So we're trying to see if we could get this, yeah, I'm back down again. So we are trying to get the stream going, guys. Basic, just click stream. But unfortunately, we are not getting the allocated bandwidth we need to run this stream. Unfortunately, that's usually the case with my shows. They don't get the allocated bandwidth that they deserve, YouTube, unless, like I said, I start pouring gravy down my pants. And yeah, no, it's not Rogers. I'm with Shaw, guys. I'm with Shaw. And TELUS is worse. Apparently TELUS is actually a lot worse. It's actually more damaging, TELUS. Everyone's complaining about outages, but yeah, I'm not getting any everyone's leaving the show right now, so yeah, I'm just trying to keep it, you know, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just asking to be heard. But like I said, it's up to YouTube if they feel that this stuff needs to be, it's up to them, right? It's their platform, right? It's up to them, right? So here it is, the new law C7, what is this? C76. Anybody falsely saying that a politician figure has broken the law, has been charged with breaking the law, or is being investigated, making false claims and statements about the politician's figure's citizenship, place of birth, education, professional qualification, or membership in a group. Breaking the law could lead up to 5 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. So that's it right there, guys. So if you, like, falsely accuse a politician... Yeah, I'm not getting back online. Okay, it's back online now. Yeah, saying I need to reboot my routers. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's it, guys. Very, very unpredictable election. Wow. Wow. Fredericton's a major city here in Newfoundland. Sorry, New Brunswick, sorry. Fredericton, wow. Oh no, it's changed color again. It's no longer green. So votes are pouring in, people across Canada. Here we go, guys. We're going to start breaking down all these regions. And I'm allowed to stream. I've been having a really tough time. They want to get my viewership down to 40 and 50. And then they allow... Yeah, I'm at 50 right now. Let it get down to 40 watching. And once they get to 40 watching, then they'll allow me to resume my stream. There we go, 41. We're almost there. We need to get to 40 people. We need to get to 40 people watching, guys. Okay, we're getting up to 40 now. Usually when you get below 40, the stream goes back up normal. People are saying YouTube is kicking them off the channel. Yeah, I was at a peak at one. We gotta get down to 40 viewers. Once we get down to 40 viewers, it would allow me to stream normally. I'm not getting anything here, guys. Okay, it looks like I'm back up again. Yeah, it depends, guys, what they're doing. It depends what the allocation is of the bandwidth. Yeah, if anything, they'll throttle you on YouTube. Yeah, they're throttling me big time. Every time I hit anywhere over 100 viewers, we got up to 140 something. 155 was my peak. Once I got to 155, it cut it down. And then once it gets to 40 viewers, it goes back to regular stream. I have experience with how this works. I've been streaming like twice a week for the last, I don't know, 5 years. And I know how it works. I'm getting an ad now. So, like, yeah, they're running ads on this, and it's not suitable for advertising. 39 watching. We should be back now. Oh, we're getting mixed things here. Okay, so it looks like we're under 40 people watching. So it looks like it might be working. Yeah, it's going down, guys. Yeah, it's going down for real. It's going down for real. Someone's telling me reboot my routers and computer. No, I reboot them every once a week. It's not that. Well, it's running fresh now. Apparently here, CPU's running nice and smooth. CPU is good. I mean, this is a really high-end computer that I've been upgrading for you guys. I'm back in the red again. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna take a break. I might come back later and once we get them into the middle provinces here, and once we get more numbers, because I'm not getting a stream here, and I think what they want to do is they want to focus more on the liberal stuff, which is nice. I think that's really nice and fair, but. Yeah, this is killing me, guys. Yeah, I'm going to reboot everything and try and see. It's not that, guys. It's like whenever I get a X amount of viewers watching the channel just gets throttled back to about 40, 50. Usually it comes back after 40 people watch. Then it goes back to normal for the rest of the night, but it looks like they're really hitting it hard tonight. Which is nice. I mean, it's nice, you know. Okay, so we're seeing red here in these specific provinces here. Lots of red. But remember, guys, this is a lot of uninhabited territory, so relax, guys. Nobody panic. So right now, Liberals are winning with 24. So remember, 170 is needed for the majority. Conservatives of 6, Green at 2, NDP at 1, and the Bloc Québécois at 0. Yeah, I'm not getting any connection, guys. All right, guys. I'll try and come back later. I'm getting fed up with this. I'm getting really fed up with this. I'm just trying to talk, man. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll be back I'll try to be back later.